All units, this is Neko 2 in actual, be advised. Initial thermal scans show content that may not be suitable for those who are easily offended or under the age of 18. Break. We're seeing coarse language, dark humor, and discussion of adult otaku media ahead. Listener discretion is strongly advised before proceeding. Neko 2-1 out.
Hey everyone, this is your old pal Cube the Third, and welcome to the first ever edition of NTR Midnight.
Yay!
Yeah, I know. All right.
So enthusiastic.
Where's all the enthusiasm, guys?
Just dead
Yeah.
slap. Yeah,
This
it's
is-
like immediate dead air.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm Cube the Third, and this is my special guest,
Sheridan?
just Sheridan.
Just Sheridan.
Yeah, not the
Swedish
double
word,
O.
Look it up.
He doesn't have a really complex username like the rest of us.
I will.
Eventually. Okay.
I'm Time Enforcer Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
I'm Human Garbage VZ Mark II.
Really?
And I'm the usual co-host, Kevin Faulkner. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was kind of not an ordeal, but it took a little while.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Just
this
a
is
bit.
what, like 3 years in the making? 2 years in the making?
Yeah, since December actually ever since December of 2014.
Well,
Beca-
it's the second
Lord.
season of sharing, right?
Yeah, well,
3 years in the
basically.
making.
Okay,
Took
so
3 years for the internet to calm down.
yeah, well, basically, here's how the story goes. Now, basically, so I was riding home with Sheridan from the movie Expelled from Paradise. We saw that.
That
with Ser-
movie, by the way.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, watch that
Yeah,
now.
really, really, really good movie.
I seen it.
Yeah. Probably the best use of 3D CG, but as they were coming home...
Angela Ballsack.
Angela Buttsack? I know, right?
We're off to a great, great start.
Everyone immediately becomes 12 years old as soon as they hear that.
Strap yourself
Well,
to
and
the
I thought you were
same
gonna
thing
choke on the
ride.
Canadian dried water tonic or whatever the hell you had over there.
Yeah.
To be fair, Balzac is apparently the last name of a famous drummer. I don't know which band.
Did he play with his? Did he play with that instrument?
No.
It's like it's like some kind of like Stretch Armstrong silly putty. Swinging
This
it
is,
around.
this is the fine quality of the NTR Radio podcast.
Watch.
This is what happens when you get NTR Radio involved with any podcast.
Well,
Yeah.
well, he's just swinging it around, like using it for the ride symbol and.
Yeah.
Okay, that was bad.
Anyway, moving on.
Focus,
Story
focus,
continues.
K-God, focus.
Focus.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying about me being...
Oh, okay, so, Sheridan and his friend, they were, like, talking about OREIMO, and the conversation was, like, really interesting, and I just really loved how he had, like, this different perspective of OREIMO that I didn't really hear about, because normally what I hear about is, Kuroneko should have won! Or, ew,
Which is right,
incest,
but go ahead.
or ew, or just basically ew, or Kuroneko should have won. But I was hearing...
What you're hearing... See, the reason of that is because the internet is full of what's known as the loud minority. And anyone who was mad enough immediately needed to tell everyone on the internet that they were mad enough. The rest of people who are either indifferent or enjoyed it or whatever, we didn't need
people
to be
like me,
we didn't need
like,
to be outraged about it. We were just like, it was kind of cool, whatever, all right, good. For
people like
guns.
me.
But I did kind of go on a diatribe with me and my brother-in-law on the way home.
Pulling an OREIMO, which I coined.
Which it didn't, but go ahead.
Right.
It didn't pull anything.
It's in the title.
Okay. All right. We're gonna have to come to Jesus about
this.
As
Giga put it, he said that OREIMO was revolutionary in the fact that it created an emoto show that instead of doing the good old bait and switch near the end of the series like every other emoto anime ever does, it showed exactly what was written on the fucking tin.
That's why it's pulling an OREIMO.
Exactly.
Because
sticking with your guns.
Okay.
Because it's no. But here's the initial thing that happened.
No, BZ, let me ask you a question. Before you, let me ask you a question. Okay, so you're watching a show called "My Little Sister Can't Possibly Be This Cute." All right. There are an array of characters that this dude could get with. One of them is his little sister. Based on the title of the show, which character do you think Homeboy gets with?
But that's why he's talking about the bait and switch element, because that's the kind of shit that actually usually did happen.
Because I've seen other shows that have done the bait and switch.
But then call it something else, because OREIMO didn't pull anything.
OREIMO just did what it said it was gonna do.
Right, but that was the genius of it, in my opinion, because it did exactly.
There's Kisses.
So
okay, here's the thing. If you were to say, okay, Yasuga no Sora, and you weren't expecting Homeboy to fuck his sister at any point, then you could say, okay, it pulled a Yasuga no Sora. But there's no way I'm gonna accept. Okay, the show called My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute, pulling. Oh, he gets with his little sister. Oh, who could have possibly foreseen this? How did this have happened?
And I think I'm going to get to that point
What's funny,
later when I talk about it. But
Where's Miss Cleo to predict this?
Miss Cleo.
Jail.
What's funny though is that
I heard she's dead now.
What's funny though is that
didn't see that coming.
What's funny though is that it is called My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute, and it does do exactly what it says it's going to do on the tin.
That's why.
And yet, here's the thing. No. VZ, stop.
Okay.
But here's the thing. People were still shocked about it. I don't fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's just because the trend that he was talking about of every other anime like pulling a bait and switch, being like, well, but reality and society says this can't happen, so let me drop every romantic feeling I have for you at the last second and then switch to immediately falling madly in love with a different character, which only works in the minds of a societally deprived human being. It doesn't work with actual people with actual emotions. You can't just
Okay, can I say why I called it?
Train.
Okay, let's let VZ talk. Let's just shut up and let VZ
let's
talk.
get back to what he said. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the reason why I called pulling an OREIMO, this was the initial reaction of the people watching it. Okay, the fan base.
Okay, so you're calling that because of stupid people. Gotcha.
Wait. Hold on. Reaction 1. Ew, incest show. Reaction 2, then, oh, this is just gonna be a, comedy. Harem-ish comedy thing that's not gonna go down the incest route. But then the part 3 to that is it goes back to that first initial reaction of, oh shit, they did do the incest route. So that's why I say pulling an OREIMO, because
so I reiterate, I'm calling it that because of stupid people who don't know what to expect from a show called My Little Sister Can't Possibly Be that would be that's exactly like if someone watched Kiss This and was shocked by what they saw
when he kissed his sis.
Yeah.
Like, what?
No.
And there's a question.
That's like watching Kiss with a Honkai and not and being surprised at all the sex in the show.
Oh,
The
you-
show's called Scum's Wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
show's
No,
about scummy
that-
people. It's called Scum's Wish.
well,
What
the
are you
thing
expecting?
Whoa.
Like,
Oh, I'm gonna watch this wholesome show called Kiss Sis. Whoa, what's this guy doing with his sisters? I wasn't expecting
Not just that, but
from
twins.
this show called Kiss Sis. Okay, now if you like kitty grade and were really surprised
That one was kind of a strange one, though.
really surprised that show wasn't like Hanamaru Kindergarten, I can accept that.
Yeah, that
I can
one was
fully accept that.
that one threw me off too.
Oh, because of the name.
If you're thrown off by the show Kitty Grade, but you're watching the show called My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute, and at any point in time you don't expect this homeboy to get with his sister, probably dumb. Sorry.
No, Anubis. They could have called it something else, like, I don't know, I got hammered and almost made a lifelong mistake.
Well, am I
Really
dumb
early.
for thinking that they weren't going to go that route?
How could you possibly believe they weren't going to go that route?
and I've actually, like, that's one of the big things I'm going to talk about, is that there were signs all throughout the series that even things like Kuroneka's relationship with Kyosuke had an ultimatum, and it had nothing to do
Yeah.
with Kuroneko.
Okay,
Yeah,
and,
And
due
we'll
to
get
the fact
to
that we're-
those, and we'll get
Alright.
to those
Yeah.
later, I think. But
Yeah.
all
Due
right,
to the
let's
fact that
the
we're
signs were all there.
all right, let's not
Okay,
spoil it now. Let's
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
and due to the
Let me-
and due to the fact that we're kind of limited here, so let's not spend a whole lot of time splitting hairs here.
Yeah, or like going off, or just just going off the rails, going full retard and shit.
Let's not
So,
spend
I
an
like
entire
doing all
segment
of those
shitting on
things.
BZ's point.
yeah, I mean, hey, it's cool. Hey, it's fun to go full retard. So, well, wait, you never go full retard. As
Never go for retard.
we're just a little warning, guys. Little heads up. We're going to be a little less PC than usual. So
None of what we say here is
We
meant
got
to
the
be
NTR
insensitive
radio
to
crew here.
viewership.
We're
Just
gonna
keep
be
that in
less
mind, guys.
PC.
yeah.
You played the NTR radio warning at the beginning, so
I mean, this
Yeah.
is nothing. This is not even close to as bad.
Well,
as, like, half
other
my Xbox
see,
Live
other
parties,
other
so it's
anime
whatever.
podcasts discuss the intellectual side of anime.
What's that there, Scoob?
Okay, all right.
It's not
So
radio.
let's. All right, so to end the story, originally I was supposed to have this podcast back in early 2015, but couldn't really get it. I really couldn't get it to work, and I couldn't really get Sheridan to do it because issues. We're not going to get into that because
my life was the equivalent of a train wreck full of like baby seals crashing into an elementary school of cancer patients.
your life got
So-
turned upside down.
Like, it
And
was
then
real
ISIS was
bad.
formed.
So I just and then ISIS torched and burned the rest of the remains. So like I needed like a couple of months or whatever, and then it just kept getting delayed. So just sorry. That's honestly how I would describe my emotional state at that point.
yeah,
But I'm here now.
here now. He's awesome. He's here now.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah.
They'll just be let down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's here. He ain't going nowhere. All right. So basically, and after a whole bunch of delays, now we're finally here, and
So is this this is the podcast equivalent of Duke Nukem Forever?
kind
Done
of.
with it. That's
Except our podcast hopefully won't be a letdown.
Yeah, I hope it won't be a letdown. I mean,
That's an awful comparison.
Right.
That,
Way to
uh,
set us up for failure, man.
yeah,
Hey,
Well, that-
the
Anubis.
Duke
Oh, no,
Nukem
no,
Forever at podcasts.
He could have.
Hey,
He could have.
Duke
Think
Nukem
of it more
podcast.
like here, like this is if Valve promised Half-Life 3 finally, and we actually got it. So it may not be quite what you're expecting, but it's a whole lot better than nothing.
yeah.
Or that thing, what was it called?
Chinese
Mighty-
democracy.
So that, but I was thinking Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
Oh,
jeez.
Again,
Oh,
you're
Wait,
just
wait,
tuning
wait,
us to
wait,
failure.
Way to rip open old wounds.
man. Mm-mm.
Too soon.
But
Too soon,
yeah.
man. Soon.
Okay, too soon.
Too soon. Okay. So, how's everyone been? I know it's been a while since we've done a podcast. Kevin, I'm going to start with you. So, how have you been? It's been a little bit.
Been doing pretty good. We've just been, me and Zeke have just been plowing through recording more of Danganronpa. We finished recording for Novelty Hour, for the record. We've finished recording the first Danganronpa game, and we're about one chapter into Danganronpa 2. So we're and of course, you can tell we've been into Danganronpa because I have Asahina Aoi as my icon right now.
Very cute.
She's adorable. We've been having a lot of fun with that one, and but aside from that, not a whole lot's been going on with me in regards to what I've been up to in regards to watching anime lately. I'm slowly getting out of my burnout, which I've been having for a long time. I really started getting out of my burnout last season with Eromanga Sensei, and beginning of this year with stuff like Eromanga Sensei and
I could always give you a recommendation.
Demi-chan and Demi-chan. I watched that stuff.
I mean, don't you mean interviews with Monster Girls, you weeb? Not Demi-chan,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, I'm calling it Demi-chan. Screw you.
Yeah.
You just
Boku no Hero Academia.
Boku no Hero
Shingeki no
Academia.
Kyojin.
SNK.
I've actually been going through My Hero Academia too, so that's been pretty enjoyable.
Boku no
And in
Pico
regards to,
Academia.
get out.
Oh boy,
Upstairs, get
let's
out.
not go there.
No, we're not.
But,
this is not that. This is not that show. We're not going there.
Do we
In
say
regards to weekly anime, so far the only shows I'm really watching are I'm giving Hajime no Gal a 3-episode count because I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very much interested in seeing where Magical Circle Guru Guru goes. So
Yeah, that's a reboot, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
yeah, it's based on an anime, which is based on a manga, both of which were released in the 90s, and it's sort of a parody / send up of like classic JRPGs like Dragon's Quest and whatever. So much so that the new anime actually has pixel art for some parts of it. That's really fun.
Is there any Akira Toriyama art in there?
No.
Okay, but you did say Dragon Quest, so.
True, but sometimes
It's
you gotta cut
extremely
your
rounded.
losses.
It's an extremely rounded look.
Yeah.
I haven't
Chibi.
watched it, I just know it.
Chibi
Yeah.
is probably what I'd call it.
It's plump.
But yeah, Guru Guru's been really first episode. Only the first episode's out, but it's a really really fun premiere. So
yeah, I'm thinking about picking that one up.
I'm hoping
maybe
it keeps up the momentum.
Maybe I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
Old
what I've been
school.
up to. What little I've been up to.
All right.
Old school JRPG guy. I am.
Yeah. So anything else you've been doing, Kevin? Like other than that?
Not in particular. I'm going to be getting a new TV next month because the one I have over here is practically broken.
Yeah, I hear.
So that's about it. We actually managed to magically get the TV to turn on a week ago, and we haven't turned it off.
You're basically ghetto rigging it basically to keep it working.
Yes.
Well, it's one of those things where you like.
We were keeping it working is that we're switching out between the YouTube app on the Blu-ray player and my Nintendo Wii.
Well, just imagine taking parts from various appliances and trying to make like an off-only remote.
Sweet Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, but make it like a universal remote so you could just run by people that are sitting around and turn their crap off.
Just drive by everyone's house.
Yeah,
Just like click.
No. Here's what you got to do. If you want to be a troll with it, what you got to do is go to those fighting game tournaments.
No.
no.
Go to
Like,
the
tell somebody-
no. Melee tournament.
Yeah, just go to a melee tournament, get a rigged signal, and then just constantly press in one direction.
That's not just trolling. That's borderline
You just
terrorism.
completely prevent anyone from wave dashing or committing any kind
Freaking-
of like good aerial
Freaking
move.
riots
Just
start breaking
destroy
out in the
everyone's
gang
work.
room. but you know what I mean? Like there'd be like, I don't know, a Marvel versus Capcom thing going on, and then just
Okay.
Knee deep into the battle, you just
Okay. Yeah.
One down, 4 to go.
Yeah.
my guy won.
Yep. Okay. I controlled it all with my little off remote.
All right, that's what I've been up to. So,
Okay.
what's
NTR radio crew. So, I mean, I know that you, K-Gods, were at AX, but other than that, what else has been going on?
Well, I'll just talk about some real life crap since I haven't really gotten a whole lot into the new season yet. I was talking earlier about why I had kind of a weird day today, and that's because the place I used to live was battered by a giant hailstorm.
Ouch.
Oh boy.
And it was so bad, like the entire area, every house in the entire area was just destroyed practically in terms of, it looked like somebody had fired one of those old school Dillinger machine guns into it.
Good lord.
Hail, the size of minivans. Fully loaded minivans.
It was bad, but here's the joke though. When obviously you want to get your insurance involved on this, to fix it up. Well, here's where it gets ridiculous though. The people that were going to work on it wanted to talk directly to them without telling me.
Oh.
Basically, why this is bad is because they're going to make shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to give estimates that are completely not even remotely in tune with what needs to be done. And they're basically ripping off the insurance companies what they'd be doing.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
we had a Mona Lisa in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
did. Yeah, it doesn't count if it's drawn in crayon.
We had a artifact from Rome here, so.
We got an NES with missing a flap.
Oh, I have the actual Sphinx in my backyard.
The actual Sphinx.
I have one of the pyramids that was sunk by Piccolo during his training. It's a very rare artifact.
Terrible.
So please give me money. Please insurance. Please State Farm. If they do have.
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah. Like a good neighbor. Like a good neighbor. No, and like a good neighbor, shut the fuck up.
There's actually.
I have this painting from the Renaissance, and it's a painting of like Kaneko in the nude.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I got this Starry Night. It's an original.
That not legal.
Starry Night in crayon.
Yeah.
have,
It's done in watercolors.
I also have this.
I
I have the original painting of the guitar lesson.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's just a painting I drew of somebody teaching me the guitar.
Oh no.
No,
Listen, if you know what that is.
Don't look that up.
So
Don't look that up.
So it's actually way better if you fraud the insurance company as opposed to the other person, because the other person doesn't know what they're doing, and especially if you have collectibles that are insured.
I just love the fact someone drew an Idolmaster version of that.
Oh.
But it was Chihaya and Yayoi.
I can't.
Of course they did.
figure
Of
out
course
what
they did.
emotion my face should make right now.
The same one that when one of my buddies sent me a horrible image, I don't know where it was from, but of Captain Planet doing something with Pikachu that I could never remove out of my retinas now.
You've already put that image.
That
in
just-
your head, so thanks. But
That just really doesn't need to exist.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
That's right.
but unfortunately, the less you're telling us, the more our imaginations work, and that's just worse.
Well, at least they didn't go full out and get like a Darkwing Duck villain in there or something like Bushroot or some shit.
Okay.
moving on.
34.
Okay, moving on. We gotta.
Somebody go somewhere else before I continue talking about this.
It's okay.
Please.
Okay,
Alright,
so VZ, what's been going on with you, man?
Busy as fuck with the drawing stuff I've been doing. You'll find out momentarily.
Okay.
Ooh.
If you go on my Pixiv, you'll know. Actually, DeviantArt also.
Is Sneaky commissioning you?
No.
Yeah.
Nah, so I can
See, that's an
the
inside
sneak.
thing there.
Yeah, it's a little
I'm
inside.
doing my watercolor Idolmaster thing. That,
Ooh.
I gotcha.
Oh,
where I'm doing every
Sheridan,
Cinderella girl.
didn't you say that you have like an art thing you were gonna try and do?
What?
Oh, yeah, and I don't profess to be. I mean, I went to My high school was an arts magnet school.
So was I.
Yeah, we went to the same school, actually, and I was not in the visual arts department. I was in the creative writing department, although I also had a knack for visual arts. So I've kept up with sketching and drawing and anime-related art and stuff like that. I was going to do a series of pictures. One of my biggest issues right now in the world of anime is the gravitation towards characters that are nothing but a summation of tropes. Almost like, it's like a Build-A-Bear workshop, and you pick your tropes and you put them together, and then this is.
It's a good way to put it.
And what I was going to do is a series of drawings where it takes those characters and it kind of roboticizes them, turns them into like an android where they've got obvious parts that are identifiable and labelable, and basically draw a picture of a character of what my opinion of how much of their character is organic and how much of their character is just cut and dry stock like a trope. So, for example, Megumin from Konosuba would have...
Warning, he's going to bash this.
And I'm sorry for this, would have probably a good section of her right side just be a robotic leg with the word explosion across it.
Yep.
Because without that adorable trope, there's nothing, for me personally, to hook me on that character. And again, these are all very personally opinionized, and I don't think there's anything wrong with troped characters. Like, they exist and they're entertaining for a reason. And there's nothing wrong with gravitating towards them, but it's a personal pet peeve of mine.
See me, I don't care. It's like
what I'm just trying to exactly. Most people.
I love checklists.
And for most
I
of
love
the time,
otaku hive mind checklist.
And most of the time I don't either. But I'd like to just kind of get an idea of like a series of these pictures.
No, whatever is fine.
Just to raise a little bit of just to raise some thought, provoke some thought about this kind of thing. But I don't know when or if I'm going to get around to that. That's just an idea I had.
Yeah.
I actually did go to art school.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
I told them the stories.
Yeah. Although my art school wasn't...
I bailed out quick. I tried doing visual arts and visual graphics for a while, and I
Good.
agree, man. Yeah, I agree. I saw the signs early, and I was like, bail out.
Good. You're smart.
Yeah.
You're smart.
My just I think it was in junior high when we had like an obligatory art class.
Yeah.
I just remember us having to do this crappy pottery thing, and not only did not I did
but K-Gods, is it motherfucking pottery? Get your motherfucking pottery right here.
Well, yeah, it looks like just a typical vase or whatever. But here's the thing: they made us write a paper about it, like. It was really lame. It was like, how did you feel about this?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I wish I was kidding. And
was the professor's heart just like constantly bleeding through a tube in their chest?
No, what I actually said got me in a bit of trouble. Because I was like, I don't feel like this was an assignment. I didn't want to do it. Yeah. So it's like this. I was just like, this was just an assignment. I don't care.
It's like you don't understand the importance of the craft.
But as far as
I feel like I'm burying frozen turds out here, and just a bunch of gibberish that they did not take well.
Damn.
But as far as stuff I'm watching, new season.
Yeah, new season. It's good shit.
I'm not going to talk about everything. I'll save it more for the next show. But suffice to say, 2 new shows premiered this week, and I'm loving them. One is Tenchi no 3P, which is basically, do you like K-On? Do you like lolis?
Yeah.
It's like K-On, but with lolis.
Yay!
And
you got your lolies in my K-On. You got your K-On in my lolies.
This is awesome.
The other thing is Hajimete no Gao. The other thing is Hajimete no Gao, and I'm liking that one too a lot. A lot of people don't like that one.
I haven't tried it yet.
But I'm enjoying it.
So
you'll know which character I like just by watching. I don't have to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Especially if you know VZ Mar2 very well. Okay. So, Anubis.
I watched a goddamn thing from this new season. And no, basically,
maybe you should point out that we were working on this promo thing.
Oh yeah, we're working on some new promos for NTR Radio. They're gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna be about as good as I can make them. Let's be real.
Yeah. I'll be willing to help, Anubis. Just saying.
I have just enough experience in Photoshop to make them look pretty cool. I'll put it that way.
Oh well, I mean, if you need my art skill, you know.
Yeah.
You
Well, if you need my video skills, yeah, I'm willing to help.
I'm here for moral support.
Yeah. Kevin, bringing up the rear.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been doing a damn thing.
I'm trying.
Well, no, I haven't been doing a damn thing this whole week except for watching OREIMO, which means I'm mad.
Yeah.
Because I had to deal with ISA.
Yeah.
When Anubis is
There's no
mad,
other in
Gotta
my
let it
hands.
go, man. It's over. Just gotta let it go, man.
Yeah,
I
bruh.
can't.
We all agree
we
it's
should
all
link-
right.
No,
No
we
one's
should
on the
link to that
ISA
video.
train. It's a very vacant train into the bowels of hell. It's fine, man.
I understand that, but I'm usually fine. I'm usually at a cool mellow 85, but if I have to deal with ISA, 200. It's not okay.
It's not okay for his blood pressure.
So,
Oh God, yeah. Okay. All right. So, anything else you
Real
want to say?
quick, I just want to note, Anubis. I swear to God, the new main character for Fooly Cooly 2 and 3 has headphones almost identical to yours.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they modeled them exactly after it.
Yeah.
Because I
It was
have
amazing.
the exact same set of headphones. Mine are broken currently, and I'm getting.
Oh.
Well, I did the 2-year warranty, so I've got a store credit. I'm getting a new set.
Oh yeah. Same
Right.
here.
Right, so I'm getting a new set. I'm not 2-year warranty.
Expensive?
$126 plus like 40 in shipping. Yeah, no, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I got them when they were just released, like brand spanking new.
What?
So-
Yeah, I got these were my second highly irresponsible financial decision after getting my new job. The first was like a $89 airsoft gun that I've yet to use.
Well,
And then the second is
Anubis, don't you think they should make these things out of the same stuff they made a NES controller out of? Those things are fucking indestructible.
indestructible.
To be fair, like the outer casing of those CATs are actually really good. They're just like my issue is that I drop my headset constantly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm just clumsy. So, like, eventually the
That
wiring on
happens.
one of the ears started, like, the lighting and the sound started going
Oh,
on.
okay,
And
yeah.
then also the mic they give you with it is garbage. I was actually using the mic off of this Turtle Beach headset, which is compatible with it, because it's got a metal casing on the outside that's more durable.
So it's not like one of those things where you're gonna bump it with your elbow and it tear right off, or
No. Like,
Yeah.
they're actually very durable. It's just, you can't drop them 1,000 times like I have. They'll eventually start
exactly.
breaking. And that's what I have.
it's
That's
not
why
like
you
a
buy
cell
the Marquee.
phone.
But they lasted
It's not like a
year and half
Nokia, yeah.
before- They lasted about a year and a half of constant abuse before they went out. So now I'm just getting them. So yeah.
I said the same thing about AX, but
Woo! If you want to know more about that, see the most recent episode of NTR Radio.
Yeah. Okay.
Bugs.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, as for me, just real quickly, only watching 2 things this season. I'm watching the second half of Recreators. I will say this: I was not expecting Recreators to be that freaking good. I also showed Saradin the first episode, and
The first thing I got from that show when I was watching it with him is I was just questioning because I kind of saw where the series was going, and I was like, "So are there any reverse isekai anime?" And then I was like, 10 minutes later, I was like, "Holy shit, this isn't reverse isekai anime."
you know what I kind of
That's pretty cool.
You know what the show's concept reminded me of? It reminded me of who here remembers the Arnold flick Last Action Hero?
I remember.
Oh my God,
yeah.
Yeah,
is Recreators that show that with Ram and Rem?
no, that's
ReZero.
ReZero. ReZero, my friend.
There's also Re Life or something like that. Like the guy
Re-Li-
gets to do high school over again. There's a lot of reshows in the last couple of years. Like,
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
The one
Recreators is like kind of like Last Action Hero the anime. Basically, it kind of asks the
Anime characters come
question.
to reality. Anime characters from a popular anime
Please,
come
please,
to reality.
please tell me there is Arnold level puns.
God, I wish. God, I hope.
the only thing I really remember about Last Action Hero, aside from like plot elements, is the one thing you can't say in a family movie: rubber baby buggy bumpers.
No. The best pun was when he wastes that guy that's chasing him on the freeway, and he says, "I iced that guy." Dakota phrase. It's just
my
bad.
God.
It's so bad.
It's really awful.
Yeah, it is.
Was he like
And the
practicing for his
funniest thing
Mr.
is
Freeze
actual-
role?
Oh,
I smell vomit.
People go on and on about Mr. Freeze, but people don't think about fucking Last Action Hero and the
No.
terrible puns in that.
Oh,
God,
it is.
that's-
Well, but
fantastic.
because one was an R-old action flick, and the other one was a freaking Batman movie, and you expected more out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, well, he's just like, kid, who does the doctor treat? Patients. And look at the elbow of my jacket. What's it doing? Wearing thin? Bingo.
All right.
Okay, that's
You know,
clever.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay. All right, folks. Oh, wait a sec. You know what? Anubis, did you tell everyone how to get into the chat? Because I just now remembered.
Oh, whoops.
Now, so here's what you do. You go to ntrradio.net. The top right-hand corner, you'll see the chat link. Click that. It'll take you to the page with the chat window in it. Give yourself a nickname, hit the button, and join us in the IRC channel. Alternatively, you can take your favorite IRC client, point it at irc.ryzen.net, and join us in the pound or corned beef hash SOC media channel.
And
Wait.
yeah,
Wait, did you just say corned beef hash?
corned beef
Corned
hash.
beef hash.
I just caught that.
I like it.
Like,
I'm
what
gonna
the
use
hell?
that now.
Corned beef hash.
That's mine now.
Wow.
Okay.
Seriously, that completely knocked my train of thought off.
Sarah
Delicious.
didn't know. That's fuck. What's that bullshit Tumblr goes on about? Cultural appropriation.
So you're appropriating Anubis's culture,
That
you
just
bastard.
sounds like garbage to me. I don't really know what any of that means. But
As soon as you say
Hold
it,
on.
The rest of us.
it sounds like the adults in Peanuts.
Okay. Well, that's gonna do it for this here first segment, folks. We're gonna take a quick break, so nobody go nowhere. All right, keep it right here on NTR Midnight. Okay, and I'll be right back real quick.
Solid
Same.
copy.
Yeah, I have to do something real quick too. So
nope.
I shall return.
Okay. All right.
Nope. I've got my catheter hooked in, so I don't need a. I'm just gonna grind another daily on FGO. You think I'm joking? I'm actually just on FGO right now. What happened?
What?
No, it's back. Never mind.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I cut out for a little bit. It's fine though.
Oh, that's weird. Let's see. Okay.
No, we're good now. It's just literally like everything. The terminus or whatever you have there turned off for a bit.
What the computer here?
This thing.
Oh,
Like I saw the lights shut off for a bit.
oh, the mixer. Oh, okay. I was about to say if the stream died, that would have sucked.
I have returned.
I was about to say No, I'm saying no NTR demons. Get. Not
Out of
today.
this house.
Not today. Not today, Satan.
Out of this house.
Not-
Out of this house.
Not today,
Wherever
Satan.
we go,
Gone
it's
from
like,
this house.
He gets it.
Oh, now.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
I think you hit.
Okay, so now we figured out what's
Yeah.
So I'm gonna scoot like 3 inches this way. There we go.
Okay, no, I think.
Yeah, let's not do
just-
that again.
Yeah, just don't hit that button.
Okay, let's yep. Games.
Okay, no game, no life for
No
you.
game, no stream.
No game, no stream.
Stream.
Alright.
I wonder if Morning Rise does idols in there.
I believe so. Because like, there's times when I'm there and he's already there.
Ah. Okay, so I guess since okay, I'm just gonna mute. We're just gonna mute our mics real quick, just real quick.
So Roger.
Oh, hey, like me.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. We just wanted to go over some stuff real quick.
Right.
Didn't want anyone to hear
No
it.
problem.
I was gone.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. Okay. All right. So, are y'all good to go?
VZ's not here.
Oh, VZ. All right. I guess as soon as VZ comes back. Okay. So let's talk about some more nonsense.
Anybody fan of Eureka 7 in here? Eureka 7, etc., etc.
I actually need to sit down and actually watch that show.
I'm not gonna
'Cause-
lie, it's hard to get through the first 10 episodes because there's a lot of like incessant comedic filler in the beginning. But by about episode 10 or 11, it gets really interesting, and then it slows down again, and then it gets really interesting. It's a show that easily could fit into 24 episodes, but they stretched it out to 50. That being said, it's fantastic, and once you watch it a first time, take a break, and then watch it a second time, because you'll catch a shit ton of other stuff they hid in there. That's my...
Yeah, because like the way I watched it first was like wasn't really watching it because it was like I'd see an episode here and there on Adult Swim. I really pay attention to it. So, but quite a few of my friends are really into it. So I'm like, okay, I have to sit down and actually watch this show at some point.
It's really good, but like kind of like
Eureka 7.
Yeah, kind of like any other Bones anime. It's not something that just hands you the story on a silver platter.
Oh, see, I don't like Bones anime.
Every line is crucial to like the storytelling of the series, and it's just one of those things where you have to watch it. You just have to focus on it.
Yeah.
Casual watchers are the ones who usually hate that show because they don't get it.
So that's my thing. Like I've so far liked one Bones anime.
Yeah, and that's
I've seen quite a few, but I've only liked one of them. Ouran High School Host Club. Yep.
Yep. That one
That
was
show's
good.
fantastic.
Eureka 7 was good. I liked Noragami and its sequel. Those were both Bones. And then I've also watched what was it?
I'm sorry for that. I put it in the chat, and I'm very, very sorry, but it needed to be said.
Oh boy.
Twitter sucks.
But what was the other one I was going to mention? Darker Than Black was also Bones. And that one was also really good.
Danker Than Black, you mean?
Yeah, that's another one of those series where if you're not really paying attention, you can get lost. Like, it gets lost in its own lore a little bit, kind of like Guilty Crown does. But it's good. Guilty Crown, I still don't know what the hell happens in that show. But Darker Than Black's easy to understand.
Did anyone see? There's Hero Man, and there's also what's the other Bones one? the one that looks kind of like Mamoru Nagano style, but
Star Driver.
Star Driver.
Are you okay, man?
What the
Just
fuck?
butts. Everywhere, just butts everywhere on the screen.
Is that like Goatsy Light or something?
The reason that,
It's apparently real. By the way, that's not like a joke or anything.
look,
That was a
if-
real article.
If a toilet can be tastefully presented in an art museum, then we must ask ourselves, why can't we do the same with a lolly saying "I love dick"?
You're gonna get so much hate for that.
I
You know that.
Look, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying that scene was good. I'm just saying that's. I'm just borrowing a quote. That's
Hey,
all.
I don't know him. He just showed up here.
Oh right.
Dr-
He
dr-
doesn't know it well enough.
Yeah.
I'm just quoting Giga here. Leave me alone.
No, we're being yeah. I'm being
Anyway, but no, the reason I brought up Enica 7 is because there were like 3 movie series announced, and allegedly the first movie you don't have to know anything about the original series to go into it because it is a prequel that follows the main character's father and 3 of the main characters from the series, and it gives a full explanation allegedly of their origin stories, which they touch on and they give a lot of hints and they talk about a lot of it, but they don't go over all of it and really a chronology of it. So if you're wanting to jump into the series this summer, I believe is when the first movie comes out, and as long as they don't piss around with it like they did with the other Eureka 7 movie, then they're probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. You bring up the whole Megumi saying she loves dick scene. When the first time I was exposed to that scene, I generally wait a few hours so I can watch a lot of anime on my tablet.
Yeah.
Like the first time I saw that scene, it was actually through like someone's tweet on my timeline, and I'm like, that's a funny little Photoshop. It was not a
I thought
Photoshop.
the exact same thing. That's exactly how I was exposed to it. Is I saw the manga page, which I thought, oh, surely they just like letter shopped it, right? Like I saw the manga page for that scene, and I was like, there's no way that's real. There's no way.
I tweeted my utter incredulous bafflement, and I got like friggin' 100, 200 something odd. Like I think it was like 77 to 100 retweets on that shit. I'm like, Jesus. Well,
like,
of course that's not even.
People? And then you realize, God, what's wrong with this creator?
Okay. Hold on just 1 second. We'll start again. Just let me.
No,
Eromanga Sensei is Eromanga Sensei is an anime that went terribly right.
Yeah, exactly. It is the. I like I said, I'm gonna when we talk about Eromanga Sensei at the end, I'm gonna borrow a bit of I'm gonna kind of leap off of some of the things that Giguk said, because I'm not lying when he literally mirrored my exact opinion of that show. It is the most beautiful car crash of everything awful and great in anime simultaneously.
Oh, I love it.
Like, yeah.
I love Eromanga Sensei to death.
Yeah, I watched it again with a friend who is like me and who is a trash lord consumer of like just great and awful animes. And
Did you just call yourself a trash lord?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we're a trash lord.
He and I had we laughed ourselves into gut pain over the first like 6 episodes of that series, dude. When we were watching it together, that is hot, delicious entertainment. It's just hysterical.
Okay. All right. So you ready to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anubis, you ready on your end?
Let's do this.
Okay. Everybody.
Equals up. Yep.
All right. Okay.
Hi.
Ready.
3, 2, 1. Let's jam. And welcome back to NTR Midnight. Today we are talking about OREIMO, the podcast that's 2 years in the making. So, first off, we'd like to talk about, our story with the show, how we got introduced to it. So, since the sole reason why I brought him here, because he is the OREIMO, I call him basically the OREIMO expert right here.
OREIMO senpai, I'm gonna smack you.
He's the scholar.
Yeah, he's the OREIMO senpai.
OREIMO sensei, I'm gonna smack you.
OREIMO sensei.
Just mash all those together.
Okay, so what's your story? How'd you get introduced to the show?
I'm trying to remember, and I'm not sure if when I remember, I'm not sure if I want to talk about it. But
I can go first if you want me to.
no, it's fine. I think I just remember seeing a lot of images of Kirino and a lot of screenshots of like some of those things that happened in that show, and I was looking for something new to watch. I had been let's see, what had I been watching before that? I forget. Oh, I had come off of like the highs of Sword Art, and I like really had nothing else to watch at that point. I had tried a bunch of other series and was just looking for something, and I said, and I kind of did with that series what I did with a lot of others, which was just I researched what was popular, and I said, gonna watch this, whatever. It looks entertaining, and then like the first couple of episodes, I was like, wow. I mean, especially up to the third episode when we'll get a little ahead of ourselves when like the dad finds out, and then the brother's just jumping in and gets slugged by his old man in defense of it. I'm like, this is really bizarre, but it's really dramatic somehow. It's really dramatic and good somehow, and I kept with it, and then I got into it after the first season had fully aired, but as the second season was like I'd say about a third of the way through.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah. That's what I do. But like. And I binge watched the first season and I loved it, and then I actually didn't watch the OVAs because I didn't know they existed because I was doing this through Crunchyroll at the time.
Okay.
Then, so like when I watched the second season, I was like, "What the heck is this? How did this all happen?" And then like I started watching through the second season, then went back and like I was all over the place with the series, but eventually I got to the ending of it, and then I really enjoyed it. And despite its risque nature, despite its antics, and despite the a lot of the other things that people might have had problems with, like Kirino being an insufferable character, which I 100% disagree with. But then again, I've also had two younger sisters and an older sister in my lifetime.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the joke. None of my sisters are actually related to me by blood. Okay?
Oh.
And all three of them have lived with me at a simultaneous point. Yeah, it's weird.
This is a sitcom in the making.
It is. It really is. I used to tell my friends, I'm like, I live in one of those weird siscon harem animes, and I'm not sure if I like it or not.
Yeah, if you gave this a long title, it'd make a light novel.
Right, exactly.
Or if this was,
I've thought about it.
Except
it has a really bad ending.
I can't believe my three non-blood related little sisters are all living in the same house with me. New light novel. Let's go.
There you go.
Bestseller.
The new hot hit by Dengeki Bunko.
I start the genre for an American audience. And then
So basically, it would take place in Alabama.
No, Kentucky.
He said
Kentucky.
not blood related.
It'd be in Kentucky.
No, but anyway, so I watched it. It was interesting, despite all the stuff, parts of it that might have made me a little uncomfortable. But having three sisters, you get to know really quick that sisters are always a jerk to their brothers. Siblings are always jerks to each other. It has to do with the fact that you're both living in the same house and you're constantly trying to vie for the same level of affection from both your parents. Like, competition is a natural part of being siblings. So when Kirino treats her older brother like crap, it's pretty natural, and I don't see it as necessarily being a jerk. They also mention a lot of times, like, hey, she's really nice and really good in school and towards everyone else. You're, like, the only guy that gets the crap end of the stick. And I'm like, yep, that's 100% accurate. So, like...
It totally is.
Right, it's 100% accurate. Now, that being said, I'm not a filthy freaking siscon, so don't get that idea. I enjoyed OREIMO for other reasons, but I really loved the series, and then I watched it again all the way through about a year later, and I enjoyed it even more because there is another layer of depth that gets uncovered when you've already seen the series, and you can catch all the nuances and stuff that A1 Pictures put into the anime and stuff, and it's much more fun and interesting, and I think you get a whole lot of more of the story and understand more of it when you watch it through the second time. But I enjoyed it even then, and then when the OVAs came out, I laughed so hard it wasn't even funny at the end of it, because I just imagined an image of, like, across 2 different countries, like, over 1 million desktops just being flipped over simultaneously. Because I knew exactly how the internet was going to react to that ending. But I understand that it wasn't the ending that was intended. I mean, it was the same result, but the way they got there was different. Because A1 Pictures, apparently there was some kind of bureaucracy.
You might wanna wait.
Yeah, we'll wait on that. But anyway, I thought it was fine. I thought it was the ending that series deserved and what he was building towards. And I loved it. And then it's like I couldn't talk about it with anyone, because anytime you said, "Oh, I thought OREIMO was a good show," you got crucified for it, because they made all of these different assumptions about it. And anyway, so I kept quiet about it, and the few friends that I would listen, I'd give them my perspective, and that's how I did this.
And
talked to them about it.
yeah,
But
and I rewatched the series with him, and all right, so so here's my story with OREIMO. I saw the show as it was airing in 2010. I saw the first season, thought it was pretty damn good. I kind of thought it was like it felt a little bit like Genshiken almost. Have you ever seen that show?
Don't think so. No.
I have.
Yeah.
Watch it.
It felt a lot like Genshiken with a little bit of Emoto humor and all that stuff.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, with all the sister puns, like that freaking tribute to Mother 2, Emoto 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Easter eggs everywhere too.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Gotta love it.
it's gotta love it, man. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't watch the second season until I watched it with Sarah. We basically did a group watch, and that's how we were like able to kind of like get the material for all of this. And I will say this: my thoughts on the ending. I'll save that until the end. But I will say this: I feel like it ended the way I thought it was supposed to. I thought it was really cool that it did exactly what it said on the tin. But like I said, getting a little bit ahead of myself. I didn't watch the second season as it aired. I basically watched it with Sarah, and yeah, the OVAs I thought were just real wild. So overall, I thought it was. But yeah,
No.
I thought it was I thought it was a great show, and probably one of my favorites of this decade. So,
Neat.
yeah, another favorite besides Madoka. See, I'm not just a one-trick pony. See, he's the OREIMO lord, and I'm the Madoka lord.
Stop
so.
increasing my title. First I was the senpai, then I was the sensei. Now I'm a lord. OREIMO-sama.
Guys, put down the die.
Seriously.
Famed God.
Famed God.
Okay, all right. So let's go to.
Closer
Let's go to Faulkner, Kevin Faulkner.
Yeah, 008.
008.5. 0016.5.
Okay, go on, please.
But OREIMO actually. Now, I have been watching anime for a long time, but it was around 2008 that I really started actively searching for anime that wasn't airing on TV. My first exposure to anime that wasn't airing on TV was actually Lucky Star. And then it went on to Haruhi Suzumiya, and then it went on to something like, I think Ouran High School Host Club was after that. And after that, I just kind of like started watching whatever anime that had already aired that I could get my hands on for about 2 years. And through stuff like that, I ended up discovering a lot of shows that have become some of my favorites, like Clannad and whatever. And around 2010, was the point where it's like, I used to be on a forum, and I'm still on it actually. It's just I don't frequent it often because I have Twitter and Discord to talk to most of my friends. Plus, that forum's relatively inactive now. But
Are you talking about the Lucky Star Shrine?
yeah, but yeah, I am actually. And when what year did Madoka air again?
2011.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, OREIMO actually ended up being like the first anime I watched as it aired, which is a bit of a weird anime to. I think that's a bit of an odd anime to start with for like. It's like oh, I'm watching all these other shows. The show that I'm going to watch as it airs is My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute.
Yeah. It's a
But
another episode of
but
the
I
Young and
I
the
will
Question.
say this, at the time before I saw it, I was a little hesitant to watch it because of its
Honestly-
title. But
honestly,
Not me.
but then like someone
me.
but then like someone told me, "Oh, it's otaku humor." It's like, "Okay,
shut up,
I'll give it a try." Go on.
stupid cat. But
Not me.
I
cat,
know.
get down, cat. Thank you. Okay. But where was I? Oh yeah, OREIMO was actually like the first anime I saw as it aired, and I actually had a really fun experience with it in regards to watching it as it aired. I of course didn't have I didn't have access to like legal streaming options at the time, so I just watched fan subs wherever I fucking could. And me and a bunch of my other friends online on Lucky Star Shrine forums, it was just a big party while that show was airing. Like everyone, like I had a good first exposure to the anime community. Suffice to say, one or two idiots in the pile, but
Well, there always
that's
are.
neither here nor
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. But OREIMO was pretty instrumental in my development as an otaku, as an anime fan. So I do have to give it credit for that. And when the OVAs came out, I had plenty of my friends. When the OVAs came out, of course, all my friends were like, "Holy shit, the OVAs are coming out!" And they just linked. They just told us where to go find them and when they were coming out, like how long it would take to sub them and whatever. So I kept up with the OVAs as those released. It actually wasn't until a couple years after season 2 ended that I actually finished the series. I actually didn't finish the series until like a couple years ago. But yeah, my personal opinion on the series is it's pretty good. But I'll save my opinions on the ending for later, like most of us are.
Yeah.
So yeah, OREIMO was pretty important for me in regards to my development as an anime fan. In that it was like the first show I watched as it aired.
I've been watching anime as it aired like ever since like 2004, because through like torrented not VHS fan subs, but like basically
Torrented VHS.
Susan, you tell me how to
How
do
the hell
that,
do you
I'll
torrent a
do it.
VHS?
Very carefully.
I don't know. It just like you hit the download button and basically freaking it pops out of your toaster.
Oh boy,
3D
what?
printing? We can do anything these days.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
All
no,
right.
no. You hit download and then that's when the magic happens.
Can I piggyback off of what
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
Kevin was saying real quick? As well as for me, like I said, OREIMO was kind of instrumental in me getting back into anime because, like I said, after Sword Art finished, I kind of I think if you go back and watch the Sword Art video on Otaku Midnight, I talk about how basically I think I watched that series at the right time when it wasn't universally hated by people who had picked it apart. I also didn't jump into the hype at the beginning, so I actually really enjoyed Sword Art for what it was. But after that, I kind of I couldn't find anything that really captured that kind of magic for me, reminded me of everything I love about anime. And then I watched OREIMO, and I think the thing that fascinated me, other than the humor about it at first, was the insight. Although it's a very optimistic insight, it's still an insight into Japanese otaku culture, which I had never really seen before. So just
That's something that.
Just how with New Game right now, I'm not into it for the cute girls. Although I mean, I can deal.
Alabama Bay.
Right, I can deal. I'm not into it for the cute girls. I'm into it.
I just
for,
realized
the
that the first
indie-
season is 6 years old. Oh,
Yeah.
OREIMO.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But
It's almost 7.
But I'm into New
Because I
Game
actually got a
because
story about that.
I like the
When
insight
you get to
about.
me.
Okay.
But I'm into New Game because I started New Game and kept with it because I like the insight it gives into, again, very optimistic, goofy insight, but insight into a little bit of the indie gaming market over and development scene over in Japan. But that's what kept me with it. And after that, I got more into anime because of what it was showing me. I started watching animes, and specifically slice of lives and comedies, looking for those consistencies across the board because I wanted to learn more about that through that entertainment medium. But I forgot about that. That's what I was going to say at the end of my thing, and then you brought up the perfect tipping off point for me to finish that. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, go ahead.
No problem.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that I really enjoyed about OREIMO back when I watched it, because that was really the first time I saw, like, Lucky Star had a character who was an otaku, who did go out and do otaku things sometimes, but OREIMO was the first one that I saw that really kind of delved into otaku culture in Japan, optimistic as it was, and actually showcased people coming together, friend meetups and stuff like that, and getting to know each other, stuff like that. That was the first time I had ever seen something like that.
You never saw Otaku no Video?
No, I did not. In fact, I still haven't.
Dude, what are you doing?
I know, right?
That's like the Otaku.
Stuck in here with you guys.
That's like the Otaku thing to see. If you
Well,
want, like,
guess I know what I need to look up.
all right, it's 2 episodes. They're 45 minutes each.
Hey, I know how OVAs work, dude. You don't need to tell me that.
All right.
But it's like a show called, something called Otaku no Video. I'm not expecting it to be friggin' Legend of Galactic Heroes. Okay?
That's one of those shows That's one of those shows I refuse to watch. By the way.
What?
Yeah, whatever.
Legend of Galactic Heroes.
Yeah. I'm not really into it either.
The premise and its fan base turned me off so much.
The premise sounds like something that's right up my alley.
It's kind of off topic.
Okay, but let's keep it on topic.
Yeah, with OREIMO.
Yeah.
But yeah, with OREIMO, I really enjoyed that sort of angle that it had back when I was like a young teenager. So, that was enjoyable.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. So, which one of the NTR radio crew wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The main leader. Go on.
So, OREIMO came at sort of a time for me where I was already on the way of getting like way into anime. Like I was into anime before, but it came at a time where I had been blogging about anime for about a year and change, and I was real deep into constantly looking up news and always being on the biggest thing, and I was just getting into watching stuff on simulcast and whatnot. So it kind of came at that sort of era for me, and like how like Kevin and Sheridan were talking about how it's like a portrayal of Japanese otaku culture, and like they hadn't really seen that kind of thing before. For me, OREIMO was sort of an amalgamation of different elements that I had seen before, but not all together in one anime. Genshiken and OREIMO had that element in it really big. I saw Nogizaka Haruka no Himitsu, and that has sort of that entire and OREIMO's sort of doing that element where the character's an otaku, but she can't really be public about it because it's not in the kind of environment it's not kosher in the environments she runs in. So it had all those sorts of elements in it, and by the time OREIMO ended, I had already seen Yosuga no Sora a couple times over. So the ending didn't surprise me at all.
But at least your friend didn't ask you if you had the censored version of OREIMO.
That's a callback right there to yeah.
But yeah, so I had sort of caught up, been keeping up with OREIMO episode to episode, and this is for both series. I sort of kept up OREIMO episode to episode, fell off late in the series, but came back to it and finished it out later on. So that's basically my experience with it. Really enjoyed it, but we'll get more into that later.
Okay. All right, and let's go to K-Gods.
Yeah, sure. I'd already been into anime for quite a while by the time it came out, but I'm always one of those people that when something comes out and people are getting like flustered about it, it just draws me right in even more.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
It's just curiosity. It's like, oh, this thing is going to be fucking horrible. Oh, blah, 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 rabble, rabble.
That's what Hajime no Gal is doing. So
right. Well, the thing is you'd even see like these big names and stuff touting like this shit's pathetic, yada yada yada, and then of course, of course they play it a week later. But
yeah, oh no, yeah, their particular site, which I won't name, has the banner of the show that they just trashed a week earlier.
Yeah, that actually was pretty funny. But anyway, I enjoyed watching it, if nothing else, because my friend here, I actually do have siblings. 6 of them, actually.
Jesus.
Yeah, 5 of them are sisters, too.
Oh, good lord.
Maybe you should write the light novel.
All of my sisters are older, so I can't really write the...
All but one of them is younger than I am.
I have one sibling, and
oh, my bad. No, I'm sorry. Actually...
And it's not a sister, and it's older.
My mistake. Actually, I'm wrong. 2 of them. Because I'm counting the one that... my stepsister through marriage, she actually is just a couple months older than I am. But
I got you.
Yeah, I forget that. But anyway, here's the deal, though. I didn't grow up with any of these. Because almost all of them are on my dad's side with different women.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Well, then.
And basically, I didn't even start really getting to know a lot of them until we were already adults. But in between there, I can basically agree that their behavior was like that, though. They would be pissy and, But then again, my brother was like that, too. It's just sibling rivalry kind of shit. Nothing to get too antsy about, really. In any case, though, while watching this...
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. Also, the thing is that she's not just pushy and pissy and bratty and etc.
Oh no.
The whole time she's being that way, she's also trying to get him invested in her life. Which is the thing that my younger sister always did with me was, yeah, she hated my guts, but at the same time, she was always trying to get me to drive her somewhere, always trying to get me to pay attention to something, always trying to get me to listen to a song. And then when I said, I'm busy right now, piss off. She would get furious with me, and then I mean, it was like I said. I don't know if Sakashi Fushimi actually has siblings, but he nailed that dynamic perfectly. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's
if you believe Anime Maru, then yeah, I guess. Tsukasa Fushimi's sister not on speaking terms with Tsukasa Fushimi.
That's a joke article anyway. So
I know. That's the joke. That's the joke.
Yeah. But no, similar experience. There's this boy at school that's picking on me. Will you go beat him up? Shit like that.
Oh yeah, totally.
And it's just like, I can't beat him up. He's like fucking 6 years younger than I am. Anyway. But as for the show itself, I mean, I enjoyed it. The thing is the people get all crazy about the incestuous angle, but it's not like this is the first anime to explore that by any means.
No.
Yeah. No. Angel Sanctuary, anyone?
There's a lot of
I got a better one.
Oh wait, wasn't that
series also that just go straight into it and don't even?
Wasn't that the brother and sister archangels?
Yeah. Or something like that. I forgot how.
I remember Cream Lemon.
And because that one shouldn't count because that's already porn.
Yeah, did someone say Cream Lemon?
Did someone say Cream Lemon?
I'm done.
That sounded like somewhere between Shaggy and Gargamel.
Scoop.
I'll get those Smurfs.
Come on, Scoop. Let's watch some incest anime. That is the worst. That is the worst.
Zoinks, that's the worst Shaggy I've ever heard, man.
Jesus.
Like Zoinks, man.
There we go.
To be fair, I never liked Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
big
okay
into
when
it
I was
for a
a.
hot
You're
minute.
both allowed to be wrong. It's fine.
It was one of those things that was okay when I was
America,
young.
it's a free country.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, half the people who liked it were aspiring pot dealers, so. Wah. Anyway.
Fair.
Yeah.
That
Alright.
explains why people keep asking me for weed on the street.
Right.
Well, they call it the mystery machine.
No, that's the name of the pot they sell on the back of it.
Oh, yeah.
The real mystery is where they get the ganja.
Yeah. All right. So,
Okay, moving it back to the show.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's not get too off topic. I want to really keep
Drug
this.
paraphernalia is bad, kids.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Anyway, I enjoyed the show, both because of some of those elements, but also the designs. A1 Pictures tends to do a pretty good job in general with their shows.
Did they do both seasons? Because I noticed a kind of an arc
No,
shift
no.
in the second
Yeah, I didn't
season.
think so.
Yeah.
A1 did the second.
Yeah,
Yeah. A1 did the second season. AIC Build did the first one.
That's
The
right,
first
that's
one.
right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. My bad.
Well, they both did stuff.
Yeah, but most of the-
A1, I think,
It was the
a
same
little bit better.
staff.
yeah, that's because most of the crew from both seasons worked on each one, so it's like there wasn't much of a difference to start with.
Okay. And I can't get in too much spoiler territory because I think we're coming back to it. But the basic themes, I enjoyed somewhat of the interactions because they had the different kind of otaku, not just like not just the stereotypical one, but ones that kind of like Kuroneko was a certain type.
She was the anti-Moe brigade.
She was
basically.
She was the Gothic Lily / Chunibyo / like.
Her argument that her masturbation material is better than yours always amused me.
Right.
That was so great.
Right.
Just because, like, only in anime would that statement ever come across as anything but just kind of a stop and
like
look.
massive nerd culture would that ever be an acceptable statement? And it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they did. That's exactly what they were going for, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, they're arguing over who had better masturbation material.
Yeah.
I love the exaggerations that like the exaggerations of this like social stuff and OREIMO. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and like you said, like the dad thumps his ass, and
Yeah.
it's like, again, you have to know the context, but she was about to basically get a nasty scolding and yelled at, and he basically took the brunt of it.
Yeah, he completely veered it from turning her from the villain into him as the villain. Whoa.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you go into your younger sister's room and use your younger sister's computer to play games where you do loot things to younger sisters. And he's like, just no pause. Yeah, it's totally great. Just
And then boom.
boom. Worthless son.
Punches him straight in the face.
Yeah, and then it basically, he goes Yokozuna.
Like,
and...
I punch you back in time.
Like,
See, I like the father in Kiss Sis, where they were just totally cool.
You say punt him back in time, and the first thing I think of is that that one strip of Garfield where Garfield punts Odie into next week, and then in the next week's strip, Odie lands on him in the third panel.
that's fantastic.
Karma police.
okay.
That's
Good.
great.
But yeah.
No, but the interactions between them are pretty interesting, and then you get some of the other characters like Ayase and Anubis is foaming at the mouth already. I can tell.
Anubis.
Not a fan.
Nope.
Not a fan. Yeah. I think a lot of people who are into feet like her. I've noticed, or maybe that's just me.
Just silence.
That's
I
just
I
you.
was
I
laughing
have
at the
no
silence
idea.
of your statement. I'm like trying to come up with something to say about that, and I just
No,
I'm just
like on my Twitter
blank.
timeline, I'll see somebody posting her, and they're all feet pictures. And it's like, okay, that must be where the attraction is
I
with
think
this
it's because she
character.
kicks, probably. She kicks
Yeah.
Kosuke a lot, and she like stomps him, and then
Yeah.
uses her feet on him a lot. I think that's why.
Because Needy just always wants to be stepped on. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, what? Do you want me to step on you that bad? Like she's actually used that line a couple of times, and he's just like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah. Okay.
But the thing with that is I saw the first season and I enjoyed it, but then I took a hiatus because the OVAs and things came out, and then the second season. And I took a little while to actually watch it because at that point I had kind of had enough of it. If that makes sense, I was like, okay,
yeah.
I'll come back to this later.
Yeah, I get you.
Right.
And I did. But the first season I enjoyed it. It was pretty much. I mean, come on, the title. You kind of knew where it was going, but
Seriously,
you did wonder though if they were gonna pull a bait and switch because it happens so
I
often.
did not.
Right. That's the lure of the title.
It's like, will they or will they? It's like
established norm
it's
is
like
not to do that, and then you have a title that's screaming, "Hey, we're gonna do that." So you have like this sick interest in seeing how deep the rabbit hole is actually gonna go. And
it's
that's
like
what
it's
keeps
like
you watching.
It's like pulling the petals off off the flower. It's like for the incest anime. It's like, will they not?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, basically that.
Mm-hmm.
As for I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's not going to be one of my all-time favorites or anything, but it was fun for what it was. And the backlash and the screaming about it actually made it more entertaining to me because of all the memes and stuff that kept flowing out of it.
Oh man, the girl.
Like one of the ones I loved was the one with it was like for cereal. It was called like Baka Flakes or some or Bitch Flakes.
Oh, Kirino's Bitch Flakes.
I was actually gonna do
Bitch Flakes.
when I was
it's
lighter
like,
weight.
Baka.
When I was lighter weight, I was actually gonna do a Kyosuke cosplay for a convention I was going to, and I was just gonna have like a cereal box that I like printed out a big version of that and pasted on the front. And
Yes.
just go around asking people if they had seen my sister. And see what kind of reactions I got, but never got around to that.
Well, that reminds me of when I actually saw somebody that was just in a cardboard box walking around, and they literally had written on it in Sharpie, just a box.
Yeah. Yep. My favorite is cardboard box.
But they would be like camouflaged almost because they just kind of walk over like by a corner, and it would just kind of blend into the background.
Oh yeah, I remember that being a meme.
Solid Snake.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you
Yep.
cosplaying just a box, or are you cosplaying Solid Snake? I can't tell.
Well, it said it was just a box, so
We'll
go with that.
Are you cosplaying Box Gundam?
That's what Solid Snake wants you to think.
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's what the crab people want you to think.
Okay. All right. Now let's turn the camera to VZ Mark II.
Yes. So was it? We're going back to 2010, the fall season. I actually knew K-Gods for like a couple of months already, I believe, because I met him around the springtime. Remember?
Yeah, because I was writing a thing on a blog I used to have, which is mercifully defunct.
Oh, Theory.
It was actually a little even before that.
Oh, really?
Technically.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing about Theory, but never went there.
Yeah, it's good. It's fine. It was a piece of crap.
Okay, go on.
So, you know, basically, you know, at that time I was like, you know, the type to watch stuff as it was coming out. So that was one of the shows I was watching. You know, obviously pumped for it based on the title, and you know the studio and everything about it. I just was, you know, really pumped about. Weirdly enough, it aired the first episode. Then I went to. It was before New York Comic Con. It was at the same place as Jacob Javits Center, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah, it wasn't
like
anime New York or something like that.
Something
New York
like
Anime
that.
Festival.
That was it.
New York Anime Fest. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
There we go.
So I remember. So I go to that on the weekend for one day, and they had even the booth and playing the first episode there. So it's funny. It was like, oh, I just watched this thing like yesterday. And, you know, they had this banner for OREIMO. And then when I come back, there was this thing that happened with ANN kind of something about the first episode was leaked early or something. I don't.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
They
That was a big
basically-
shitstorm.
Yeah.
The Japanese
what I-
company was actually really pissed off about
Yeah, they
that.
basically like nuked everything OREIMO related onto that.
Yeah,
that
that
site.
was one of that was interestingly one of 3 different simulcast leaks that year. Or well,
That's what happened.
Yeah,
one of-
didn't like
one of
someone
2.
hack in or something like that?
Somebody hacked into the Anime News Network database and leaked the episode. Something else that happened the same year, I believe a couple weeks beforehand, was that Toei Animation and Funimation had a simulcast of One Piece,
Yeah.
and somebody leaked the new episode of One Piece like 3 days before it aired in Japan, and the simulcast got taken down until the next arc started.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Dang.
Somebody was in a lot of trouble.
There was a,
Yeah.
That's a banhammer. That's a hammer.
Wouldn't be surprised if someone lost their job because of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised
that-
either.
and
But
then
doing that
then
to
a
the
couple
big,
years
one
later-
of the big 3, that's got to be like cataclysmic.
Yeah.
And then somebody. and
I'm
then
sure
somebody pulled
someone
the
got
same-
sued.
No, well, I was
And
just
then
going to
somebody-
say,
Probably just fired.
Oh,
But yeah.
Go ahead.
So overall, I enjoyed the first season. Karina was my favorite from that first season, but I also liked Kaneko.
Kana.
Oh, Kaneko is pretty fun.
I love.
I do like
I
that.
just,
Actually one of
I,
my favorites, but-
I call her Smug Nanoha. Smug Nanoha.
She now to me she's like a sort of like a dry run of Nico.
Oh,
there's
from
the-
from
A
from
little
Love
bit.
Live. From Love Live.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
that makes
is
sense.
like
that's a good description.
it. Basically, I put this outward cute exterior, but really I'm like the jaded and disgruntled.
She's like an old like artist / director who just thinks the world of themselves and is disgruntled anytime somebody's not constantly worshiping them in their artwork. And then
Michael Bay?
Nah, it's more like she's like I said, she's aware of the power that her cuteness could bring, and she's
Yeah.
jaded. She's incredibly jaded to the world despite being a young age. But they know but they know they could get people to like, do things by just acting really cute.
so she okay, I get what you're saying. So she finds what she does kind of like and how the world takes it is kind of like, man, this is rough that this actually works, but man, I love the attention
The
to
closest
brevity.
thing I could equate is like Krusty the Clown. Where
Oh, so that's
Krusty's
something I have to do now.
The clown.
Yeah, basically like jaded, and I've seen it
Oh
all.
god, I
and
can only
it's-
spell the otaku, but I really like it when they worship me.
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
another
That's
cigarette.
it. That's it.
Apparently in the
Yeah, exactly.
I was reading
Then on
the
camera,
novels.
it's like
I was reading the novels, and actually during
then
that arc, when they forced her to do the competition, when I was reading the novels, she actually was smoking during it. She actually has cigarettes and is smoking, and it says.
Oh,
at the end of the-
Kaneko?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
she's
Oh,
actually
right.
smoking, and then at the end, basically, Ayase finds out and brings a hammer down on her and forces her to quit. And when Ayase
so. It
forces
wasn't
you to
just
do
fan
something,
art. That
no, that's
really
not just
was
fan art. That's actually in the manga, and it's also in the novels.
Just
So
not
she's-
the anime.
Yeah.
Well, then.
So she's just
If
so
the
she
anime
actually is
can-
Krusty the Clown. So-
Yeah, in anime, you can't have underage characters smoking. By
Yep.
the way.
Only
I
for
figured.
peanuts.
Same thing in the U.S. You can't have smokers underage in the U.S.
Yeah.
Right.
On syndicate
Yeah.
television. Yeah.
But
The only time I've actually seen an underage character smoking in an anime, like a TV anime, is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure
Yeah,
Part
yeah,
3.
they-
But they
they
do a
had-
weird thing where they just put a shadow over his face,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
it's
that-
clearly
I
he's
saw that.
smoking.
yeah.
And going back real quick to the whole simulcast leak thing, there was another simulcast leak a couple years later with Fractale, but the only thing I'm thinking there is, why the fuck would you try to leak Fractale of all things?
Oh God, what is it?
Fractale.
Oh, that's that.
Bad.
That's that thing that Yamakan directed.
Oh.
Like, this is save
Yamakan? No, you mean Yamakun?
Oh,
Oh.
Yamakan was trying to make the
Yamakan.
Moe Killer, and
Yeah.
what's funny, he was trying to make the Moe Killer, and he released it in the same season
Yeah.
as a quote-unquote major Moe show. Unfortunately, that Moe show happened to be Madoka.
Ha!
Yamakan is.
That was supposed to be the Madoka killer, and that, like...
Whoops!
Nope.
Yamakan is. We got to do a whole discussion about Yamakan one day because he's.
Oh my god,
such a
I got some
fascinating-
strong opinions on that asshole.
He's
Oh,
such
me
a
too.
like
Quotable
he's basically-
quotes.
He's basically Japanese Shia LaBeouf above at this point.
Oh,
No,
Whoa.
such a
Moe will not
vocab.
divide
What's
us.
up? Let's do it!
Like, okay, with all these leaks coming out of I guess the ANN database, what are they trying to compete with WikiLeaks here?
That was that time when they were doing the streaming of anime on their own site.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna...
which they stopped real quick after that.
Yes. Again, somebody's ass was definitely booted out. It's like, here's your walking papers and here's your spatula.
Get out.
You know, that was that like
Get
period when
out.
streaming wasn't as
Scram to
Like-
the nearest McDonald's.
streaming wasn't as like
Yeah.
now
Oh,
now
right,
streaming
right.
is more of a like there's a sort of like downed plat I don't know how to
Platform.
say it. Yeah,
Getting
it's
back
like,
on topic. Anyway.
Okay, alright, yeah, let's get right on topic. Alright, so let's talk about the first season, you know, and the OVAs. And
Karino's moving butt. First episode.
yeah.
Butt
Just
wiggle,
shake that
like 10
ass.
times during that season. Butt wiggle is butt wiggle. Butt wiggle is.
Let's just say I see that picture pretty much every day on my timeline. And I'm thankful.
The
And I'm
glorious
thankful.
butt.
that-
There's also
And
her
I-
just like spazzing in front of the case at the Akibahara store at a figure she wants, and she's just butt
Oh,
wiggling,
yeah.
like literally like a dog
Okay,
when
God.
she sees a bone, and I'm just like, that's fucking adorable.
I'll be right back
guys,
one sec. I'll be right back one sec.
Okay. Okay, guys, didn't you tell me that Kirino's ass is a litmus test for you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If this offends you and makes you want to turn away, I know we're probably not going to get along very well.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm an ass in a cartoon.
Okay, so alright, so first season. Okay. The way that it starts out, you know, I didn't really know how it was going to go. But then by the end, I thought like, this was actually pretty damn good, you know. And I think my favorite part of the quote-unquote first season was actually the OVAs, because I think I had the most fun during the OVAs, especially for that one creepy Fujoshi character. That
Senna.
the fangirl, the yaoi
Oh,
fangirl.
Senna, yeah,
Senna, yeah.
Oh my god, her
She's
freak
such
out.
a champion.
Her
And
freak
Anubis
out.
is sitting there doing his, like,
Her freak out when he catches her off guard is just legendary. Like, I could watch that scene 100 times. It never stops being funny.
Yeah, it was.
Remember that one?
Go on.
I can't remember if she was making a game or something, but it's like something where the main characters in whatever it was were based off of Kyosuke and her brother or something.
No, it's Kyosuke and the rest of her game club, and like the youngest kid in the game club, I think his name was like Maccabi or something, and he's
I
voiced
think that was
by-
actually the first.
Yeah, like
I think that was.
There's a scene where he gets like gang raped or something by the rest of the club
I think that was
members.
actually the. I think that was actually the first time I ever heard a Japanese person say the F word.
Yeah, no.
Jeez. It was that was like, and I just felt like so bad for that kid, because I believe that kid was like voiced by that little. It was one of the boys in that club, and I remember like one of them. He was voiced by Kirito's character
Makabe, the
Makabe?
smallest kid in the game club, like stature wise, the small. Yeah, he's played by Kirito's voice actor. I forget. I don't know what his name is. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was. I think I just knew that because I recognized the voice and I mentioned it to you. But yeah, just Senna is just such a great character, and I really wanted to kind of see more of her in the second
Look what I
season.
dug out for the Look what I dug out for the podcast.
Keep your pants on.
Oh, hey, it's Kino.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. We're talking about Kirino.
It's the
and I
it's the
know-
Figma for Carino. I
Oh, you
have
the
also
Figma.
the I also have the 1/8 scale Kotobukiya thing, but that's like up there, and I don't want to take it down.
I have the Claris version of Kirino, and then I also just recently purchased another one. I forget who it's by, but all I know it's her in her clock outfit with the black miniskirt, and she's got a new type in one of her hands. I just picked that up recently. So
Yeah.
my thoughts on the first season.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I was like, this is funny, entertaining, and I love the awkward tension it creates of most of the jokes being about, so you want to bang your brother, and she's like, the heck are you talking about?
Don't mix
Or,
2D
"You wanna
with
bang your
3D.
Oh, you guys are gross. You want to bang your sister? And he's like, no, I'm just taking care of her. She's got a problem. I'm helping her out. The heck is wrong with you people?
I mean, that's how it was initially.
Right, it was. Right.
Well, not only that.
And then it kind of shied away. Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
What?
No, no. I know what you mean, but that's how fans were too. It's like, just fuck already.
Right. Oh, but you're mad. You're mad when it happened.
But these same people got mad.
No, I have a whole thing I need to say about that reaction when we get to it and how hypocritical and ridiculous it is. And yeah, I loved the first season. I thought it was hysterical. I loved the awkward tension it gave. It's like a roller coaster where you have all this really awkward tension and uncomfortable feelings at the very top of the hill, but then when you get to the bottom, it's just pure enjoyment. It's like you just like it's
like double mint.
Right. I don't know, man. I don't do hard drugs, so. But anyway.
Ouch.
But I loved the first season. I thought it was hilarious, and it's actually funny because I was watching it one day, and one of my older sisters actually happened to come in the room.
Oh no!
And watch what I was watching, and this is not season 2 OVAs. This is not any kind of. It's just a really funny but touching scene between the two, and I forget where I was in the series, but she sat down and just was like, "So what are you watching now?" And she's kind of into anime, like she'll watch anime when it's available to her, but she doesn't like seek it like we do. But she actually sat down, not intending to stay very long, because she was just making coffee in the morning for both of us, and she sat around for 5 episodes. And she thought it was just,
Hey.
so you know that Insanity Wolf meme of watched OREIMO with my sister? Yeah, I did that.
Watched OREIMO with my sister.
And we actually both thoroughly enjoyed it. And so that was my favorite memory from that, was actually sitting down with her and having this like horrendously awkward but hilarious experience with her.
But did she ask years later, hey, so that show I watched years ago, the one about the brother and the sister, how did that end?
Oh no, she knows how it ends. She actually ended up finishing it on her own time, and she thought, whatever.
Oh, see, I was gonna be like, it's like the time the teacher in the Simpsons, and Ralph was like, was Mr. Lincoln all right? He was fine. Go home, Ralph.
Yeah, they were fine. Go away.
But it could have been worse.
But no, I loved it, and I wanted more. And like I said, I actually started the second season before knowing of the OVA's existence, and it wasn't until I picked up the first season on DVD from a convention that I ended up seeing the OVAs. And I loved that first season even more because of that whole interaction. I thought it was very cool how there was an obvious progression from, I kind of dislike you, you're kind of gross, to I guess I'll help you out, and kind of grow a mutual respect for your hobby and your friends and everything else that I may not already like, to, my God, I'm so fucking lonely without you. And I thought that was I thought it was really well paced and really a really nice natural progression that you don't get out of a lot of other animes that are trying to build any kind of like positive relationship. And at that point, it wasn't incestuous. It was literally just this brother had grown so attached to all the ridiculous things. It's like a workaholic. You work yourself to death every day, and you're like, man, I need a day off. But then you get a 2-week vacation, and by day like 10, you're like, man, I really need to go back to work. It's like you crave that strife that you were going through, and I think that's what he was feeling. It's like, my life sucks and is really boring without you constantly screwing it up. And I think that's the beautiful thing about that, is I've experienced that, so I can relate to that. And that's why I loved season 1 so much. And I thought everything else was just hysterical, and the characters were great. And I mean, there's a lot of little tiny details also in that first season that I think are profound. For example,
Yeah, the way. Go ahead.
One thing real quick, and I'll talk about the significance of this at the end, although I think most people realize this. Did you know in the first episode of the anime, when Kirino overturns her bag when Kyosuke bumps into her, that not only is there a DVD case that falls out, but you see in the it does a close-up shot of the overturned bag. There is a pink iPod in the bag that also falls out.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And if you guys remember the ending of the series, it makes the whole, when she smacks his hand aggressively and says, "Don't touch anything," it makes it so much more, I don't know, there's more than one reason she doesn't want him to touch her bag, so to speak, if that makes any sense. And I didn't notice that, and I thought, man, there's this level of depth in it that I don't get out of a lot of animes. And that's one of the reasons I really liked it. So.
Well, I think they like to do the Back to the Future thing. When you rewatch stuff, you start seeing lots of little things that they kind of Easter eggs that they stuck in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Boy, that's a comparison I didn't think I'd see. OREIMO and Back to the Future.
Well,
okay. When you...
Sisters through time. Sounds like something Kirino would come up with for a light novel.
Just straddles her brother, smacks him awake.
Speaking of propaganda...
Okay, what? We need to go back to the future.
Okay.
In the comments, Seed Freak. Speaking of propaganda, what was I going to say? Sometimes people joke about how certain shows like this that have like clearly a romance angle, it's like that it's propaganda by Japan to like breed.
Yeah, I don't think you can call this one that.
I'm positive they don't want people breeding with sisters. I'm positive. I'm 100% positive they don't want that to be the next generation.
Right. Their problem is extending their
I mean, they already
doesn't do that if you keep doing that too long.
I mean, they're already scared of Mothra. Come on. Anyway, but you pointed out, you know, there are plenty of worse shows that somebody could pop in this category, though. Like, just imagine you were sitting there watching, I don't know, Aki no Sora.
Yeah.
And trying to explain that. I got nothing.
Okay.
What are you watching?
Sure.
Bondage game.
Yeah. So, Kevin, you said he wanted to say something?
No, I forgot.
Well, shit.
Lovely.
It happens.
I've always got
This is
more.
a show called Bondage Game.
That's not a show.
Would you stop playing with my waifu? You're gonna break her lips. Stop it. Cut it out. Stop. I see you.
Stop.
VZ, that's not a show. That's an exhibition.
I don't know.
One other thing I wanted to mention about the first season is I love the arc that talks about Kirino's process going through the book, like creating her light novel and getting that published.
Oh yeah.
That was cool.
And then the funny thing about the show is, again, I've read through the first half of the first season. I think I've read through book 4 or whatever before they got taken down from Bakasuki. When I read through that part in the books, there's actually no part of it at all where Kirino gets an anime deal. They added that just for the anime, and I think the kind of joke there is that they had this part about the light novel publishing process in a light novel series. So for the anime, they probably sat down and said, so what if we took that a step further, since we need another episode for this anime, for this season, what if we took it a step further and did the same kind of, like, you know, self-referencing thing for the anime? So in the anime only is the only place where there's that episode about him going in and begging to the anime producers about, like, making the series right, making it correct, because in nowhere in the original books or in the original manga is there that arc. So that's all, like, custom written for the show, and I don't know if Sakashi Fushimi had a part in that, probably, but that part fit in so well I would have guessed that it was extra content added later.
I actually have an interesting little factoid about that. Sakashi Fujimi actually, the AIC anime that we eventually got actually wasn't the first. It wasn't the first offer that Sakashi Fujimi got to make OREIMO an anime. He actually turned down the first offer he got. So that episode might be based slightly on the author's experience with the first offer to get the series made into an anime.
And he loves doing self-referential stuff like that in his works. I know he does.
And I actually remember Yeah, I actually remember what I wanted to say earlier, and it was regards to Kirino and Kyosuke's relationship. That's another thing I really liked, is how their relationship, at the very least on a platonic level, developed throughout the first season. I thought that was very, very well handled.
Yeah,
That's just something I wanted to just point out. That was one of my favorite parts.
No, absolutely, and you get to see it develop through small things, through facial expressions, through the way that they say things, through the dialogue and stuff like that, and you get to see it develop at a natural pace, as opposed to a lot of animes where the focus is somewhere else, and then suddenly at the end, by the way, I love you, spontaneous romance, or
Yeah. And the way that they refer to each other. And
How many
like
Hollywood movies have done that?
a lot.
All of them.
Exactly.
Hey, the shitty
Yeah.
Chinese cartoon wrote better than you, Hollywood. Step it up.
Oh,
Like, I'll say that all day long. They can go themselves. Anyway,
Isn't that most anime?
that's a lot of anime. I won't say most, but that's a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to bring up there.
Yeah.
okay. So,
Who's next?
all right. Anyone else want to go before we move on to second season and the ending?
Oh boy.
Well, a lot of my impressions of the first season have been said already, but what the element I really liked about where they went with the first season, a lot of the otaku culture, going to Akihabara and going to Comic-Con, and all these. Kirino stacks up all these eroge. She's got like 2 copies of School Days, 2 copies of Summer Days. It's like,
Nice boat.
yeah, it really captures all the
Gotta give props to a voice actress just for the snorting and gloating.
yeah, like when you see Kirino get the really
Sorry, go ahead.
like the creepy, scary otaku face whenever she's indulging in
Yes.
this stuff.
Yeah, the perv
That
laugh.
is a face geared to make me fall in love.
Yeah,
And the-
exactly. It's like,
I felt so hard in love with that character when she started being an old, lecherous old man.
it's hilarious.
It's
and
like
it's so relatable as well.
Oh, yeah.
Daisuke.
Sadly so, but he knows that, and that's the author knows that, and that's what's in there, and that's what's beautiful.
it's like
So yeah,
I have
that's just my 2 cents on it.
I have more money spent on all these eroge than you paid to go to school,
Right.
basically.
Okay, now let's move on to the second season since we gotta like compress this just a little bit. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Make it run long, whatever. I don't need sleep.
Okay.
You say that to you
Sleep is for the weak.
Bruh.
All right. So who wants to go first on their thoughts on the second season? I guess I'll go first.
No, let me.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be completely honest. The reason I stopped watching the second season is because of Kuroneko and Kyosuke breaking up. Kuroneko and Kyosuke breaking up, and that wasn't something that I enjoyed very much because Kuroneko is my favorite.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
It's like I knew where it was going, but I just didn't.
Anubis.
I knew where it was going. I just didn't like the execution at the time.
Yeah, I can kinda understand, but at the same time, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I knew exactly how doomed that relationship was, regardless of my thoughts on it. Because again, I think Kuroneko should have won.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The show's name precludes that from happening. So it's like, I guess cut my losses, and he can get with the second best girl. Well, not really the second best girl.
Here's my thing. The thing about Kuroneko, and this is the thing I remember most from that arc, and this is something that he says that Sheridan says too. That I think he might say too is that Kuroneko, her end game wasn't to win. It was mainly just for Kyosuke it was mainly just she basically just wasn't her end game wasn't to win basically.
Right, she
Yeah.
wanted to
I'm probably
make Kirino happy.
exaggerating that a little bit.
Right, and that's one of the major things that I think a lot of people missed about the second season, is that they misinterpret. And again, I had to watch it the second time for me to really understand what happened. But like when I watched it the second time, you get this like the whole purpose of Kuroneko dating Kyosuke isn't so much to lose, like you were saying, which sometimes when I'm explaining this, I give that impression. She wasn't intending to lose, but she knew that she could never have a stable relationship with Kyosuke while this awkward, very obvious to everyone sitting outside of the box sexual tension or romantic tension between him and his sister was resolved. There was no way. Like she could not. She knew it was going to kill her best friend and her second best friend to do this to them. But she didn't see any other way at the time to, like, make these feelings come into the surface. Like, she literally says, when they go to find her after she abruptly breaks up with him and Kyosuke's torn to pieces over it, she literally says, everything on the table, how you feel about him right now, or I never see you again, essentially, is how she basically said it. Because I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to rip you both apart. And I'm not going to partake in this. You either have to lay it all bare right now and tell me how you feel about him, or I'm done. And that was her end goal. And she said earlier, I did all of this to reach a certain goal. And she even had in her Destiny record, the book, this picture of Kyosuke and Kirino sitting happily together and getting along. It wasn't them being romantic together. It was just them getting along and being at peace with each other and whatever else. And at the end, she decided, hey, I want to be a part of this too, and she wrote herself in. Like, she wanted to be with Kyosuke. She obviously does love him. And I agree, in a perfect world, she would have won. Even though I'm a fan of Kirino and that ending, or at least the result of the ending, I should say, I also recognize that Kuroneko probably should have won. But I actually do have a little bit of a trivia bit about the ending, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Yeah. So like the whole point with the Kuroneko breakup is that people failed to recognize that this was her plan and this was the risk she was taking the whole time. In fact, even later after the breakup happened and they're kind of on that awkward hiatus, not hiatus, she even looks at Ayase and says, I'm literally willing to let this guy bang his sister if it makes him happy. Like she literally says that.
Isn't that a Hallmark
card? She's like, even if he was the kind of brute that like welcomed incest or something like that, I'd even let Kirino have first dibs if it meant he was happy. Can you say the same thing about him?
Exactly.
Like, and that's literally lays out her entire plan and the lengths she would go to be with him.
That's really one of her biggest strengths as a character. Like, she has an intense devotion there.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I think that Kirino has a similar devotion, because it shows near the end of the second season, before we even get to the OVAs, her literally spending years working on her athletic ability, her stardom, her basically elevating herself from being kind of boring and weak and sickly or whatever she was into something that was like what she thought was at or above his level. She was trying to elevate her. Like, she spent so much time and energy working on herself so that kind of the whole senpai noticed me thing.
Exactly.
But she spent years
that butt
on
didn't
it
just
too.
come out of nowhere.
Right. But no, absolutely.
Yeah. In regards to Kirino's Kirino and Kyosuke's whole lives diverging early in their childhood, there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah, it had to come up eventually.
There's a 6-letter reason for that.
A 6-letter reason, you said?
No, there's a 5-letter reason.
Monami.
Bitch.
Oh, Minami, yeah.
Monami. That's the other thing people don't understand about that series is exactly the degree of which Monami screwed with their relationship.
You know...
Here's the thing. This is something that was brought up to me. And something that a lot of people tend to miss. If Monami hadn't gotten involved, if Monami hadn't influenced the two of them to have their lives go in different directions, like Kyosuke, it's like, Kyosuke, you don't need to be the best you can be because you can just be with me. You can just find a normal girlfriend or something like that. And the whole thing with Kyosuke, if Monami had actually left the two of them well enough alone, she actually would have had a chance with Kyosuke.
Or more than she did, right.
Right.
Because here's the thing,
a certain level of
because the entire reason why the two of them end up falling in love with each other is because Monami split them apart at an early age.
They didn't grow up together.
It's just basic. It's just basic psychology.
Did any of us actually see that? Did anybody actually in this group actually see that being what happened there? It was just like, where the fuck did this come out of?
Yeah, I see that ahead of time. That completely surprised me, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. And this is some Young and the Restless shit.
She was since the beginning of the series. Monami was there.
She was the secret antagonist of the entire series.
It's like, holy shit.
If you rewatch, every single time she talks to Kyosuke about something, every time she talks to Kyosuke about something regarding Kirino, she's trying to push the two away from each other.
Yeah.
Every time. If you really, really pay attention, every single time she's trying to move Kyosuke towards her ballpark.
And also, like,
I want to just point this out. Just the reason why she would have had more of a chance if she just left the two of them alone is because it's just basic psychology that any sort of romantic, just any sort of romantic feelings the two of them could have had at an early age would have most likely sort of petered off at some point, and they live with an incredibly domineering and very strict father, so he would have put a stop to that the moment he saw something happen.
The Westermark effect.
Her losing Monami losing was entirely of her own doing.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yep. Exactly, and that's what I noticed that too. Also, the reasons I dislike Monami as a character, and I think most people, if they actually understand what's going on, is if you look at how both Monami and Kyosuke used to be pretty good at a lot of different stuff. He even admits to himself, "I'm not a prodigy. I'm not a genius. I just worked a little harder than other people." And he says that when he's watching Kirino lose to a racing prodigy out on the track strip, and he's mentioning him to himself, "This looks way too familiar to me, and I'm not gonna let what happened to me happen to her."
Exactly.
And that's, first of all, thank you, and my heart goes out to you, patron saint of Big Brothers. Second of all, he was a little bit better than most things, and he knew, and that Kirino worshipped him, but so did Monami, because she's mundane. She doesn't have an exciting life. Her parents own an old-fashioned sweet shop that probably sees 20 customers a day, and she lives in an old-style home with very old-fashioned parents, and her life's not that exciting. She has, and so Kyosuke, of course, just like with Kirino being the younger sister and having a bit of Big Brother worship, having such an awesome Big Brother who's always taking care of her, they both idolized him and wanted to be at his level. They approached it in two, like, polar opposite ways, however. Kirino approached it as she spent years elevating herself to be on his level. Monami did the exact opposite, which is the destructive way, which is drag him down into the muck with you.
Exactly.
He could have been where Kirino is now. He could have been a designer or a model if he had kept working on the stuff. He could have, or not that necessarily, but he could have been a track star, at least have a potential in the track field. He could have been all these other things, but Monami started sowing seeds of, you don't want that, you just want to be mundane and boring. That life's crap. And so, and that's why I really despise that character, because that is an incredibly destructive thing to do to someone. You're right.
In hindsight, though, the fact that everything that Monami does, the fact that after that twist, if you look back at everything Monami does, everything points towards that twist happening incredibly subtly.
Yes.
Honestly, it's brilliantly written.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That ending, like, my jaw dropped when Kirino said, "Give my big brother back," and she just smiles, kind of evilly, just smiles at her and with satisfaction says, "No."
Nope.
And I'm just like, my jaw is agape. I'm like, holy crap, she's been there the whole time.
My exact reaction.
Like,
yes.
Holy crap. Like,
there's a reason why everybody turned on her in an instant.
Yeah.
In the fan base. Like, no one likes her.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and honestly, like, she did the exact, and you're right, she made her own undoing, because what she did was she not only made Kyosuke so unattractive to Kirino after she had done all this work that they basically had like they said, a Cold War for like, what, 5 or 6 years, 4 or 5, 6 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So not only, you're right, in that because they kind of stopped growing up together, they never had a chance to really reconcile any kind of feelings they had towards each other or really get to know each other. I actually read an article, and this is kind of an extreme example, but I read an article a couple of weeks ago about a daughter who actually turned her parents in because she found out that both of them were blood-related siblings. Now, that being said, both of them were basically separated at the age of being toddlers for one reason or another, and they never met again until they were adults, at which point they naturally fell in love, not knowing that either one of them were siblings. And once they found out, they did the responsible thing, and they basically made a hard decision to kind of end the relationship. Now, that being said, this girl grew up happier than most kids do these days. She grew up with 2 supportive parents, went to a nice school, had everything she could ever want. But because of that stigma of incest, despite the circumstances of that separation and not getting to know the other person as a sibling, more like just an antagonist that's there or like a person that's there, they ended up, regardless of the circumstances, that's what happened. But kind of the same when you separate 2 people and then make them so. And also, because you dragged Kyosuke into the muck and made him so boring and took all the excitement out of his own life, he refound that excitement that he enjoyed in Kirino. How is he not going to find her incredibly attractive, given all the circumstances? She created the perfect storm for her own undoing.
Yeah.
And it's something straight out of Shakespeare, honestly. So, by the way, we found that Shakespeare writing viewership. Gotcha. It's in a Syscon anime. Suck it.
Everything about that sounds disturbing.
Checkmate.
It's like
yelling something about Syscon and then yelling "suck it" is probably a poor choice of words.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to. You were talking about that news story a couple weeks ago. You said.
I saw it posted on social media a couple weeks ago. I think it was on NPR.
Drawing Girl 94 states it's called the Westermark effect. If you know what that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
There were actually celebrities that fell to that as well. Like back in the silver screen age, there were a couple of celebrities that had a very similar circumstance.
And also I heard that the Russian composer Rachmaninoff too.
Rachmaninoff.
Oh, how do you say that?
Rachmaninoff.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was kind of a similar.
How did we go from Syscon anime to Russian composers? God, I love this show.
I don't know, but it's just something that I find absolutely fascinating in hindsight. The entire Monami subplot is really kind of brilliant.
It is.
It's fantastic, and it's here's my thing. So, and those to NTR Radio will know about my thing with Ayase Aragaki.
Okay, all right.
But
Let's hear it.
The thing about Monami is I hate Ayase because she's abusive and a bitch and just sucks the fun out of any scene she's in. But Monami, I can't stand on a more fundamental level.
Yeah.
Because she encourages Kyosuke to embrace mediocrity. Try to get
Ooh, yeah.
So
that's
it's encourages him to give up on his ambition. It's like if you've ever watched Otaku no Video. If Homeboy had stayed with his girlfriend instead of going on and doing all this crazy stuff, imagine where Kyosuke could have gone if he'd stayed the course and done what he wanted to do with his life instead of listening to this one girl who really just wanted to sabotage what he had with his sister, which arguable if they had anything, because they're little kids.
Yeah,
but at the same time, she tried to sabotage.
Yeah, it would have been entirely one-sided as well, just on Kirina's side. She worshipped him, and the end result would have been kind of similar, but instead of Kyosuke now reciprocating that worship of his little sister because now she's the amazing one and he craves that excitement in his life again, he would have been he would have been in a similar position as her, as having all this other stuff going on in his life, and frankly they probably would have both been too busy to even notice each other. Because so she would have come out to him eventually and said, "Hey, I love you," in not a platonic family way. Do you accept me? And he's like, "Well, I already have six 6 fangirls like waiting in the van. Like, I mean, that's really nice,
Wait,
and I'm
wait.
glad. And,
He has a
like,
van?
You're a good little, and like you're a good little sister, and I love you to death. But not like that. However, I do accept you, and you did a good job. That's really, I think, at the end of it, all she was looking for initially. But that obsession with it is what drove her to a romantic interest, because she obsessed, and it became her worldview. That childhood instinct,
Exactly.
to be to want that affection from your parents or from an older sibling or from a peer became romance after it became an obsession. And if he had just given her a head pat and said, "Good job, kid sister, I'm gonna go take off with my fangirls now," then that would have been all that probably would have been all she would have been looking for. But instead, what happened is you now had him reciprocating her feelings because now he was in the other seat, and now he craves what he used to have. So, like, he even says very, like, you could say he made it up, but it was very genuine when they're doing their fake date, which, by the way, is my favorite comedic episode of the entire series. Oh my god. Also the rub-ins when Monami sees them and Kirino's just like, God, the look on her face. But like that whole scene, like that whole the thing where he's literally like, you know, they end up meeting with Kaneko and Bridget, and they're asking her, "Oh, how did you meet? Like, what do you like about her?" And he just gives this very genuine, "Because you make my life exciting." And I'm not boring. I'm not in a boring run anymore. Like, there you go. There's your reasoning.
That's real.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, got anything else you want to talk about the second? You got anything you want to talk about the second season in general, or
Before
you can,
OVAs?
before we get to the
Before
ending?
the ending?
The ending OVAs.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let me brain dump about ISA.
Go.
Can I do that?
Okay.
Go. Let's go.
All right.
No, boy.
I can't. Maybe my least favorite anime character, possibly. She's cute in the beginning, but as soon as you see the reality of her actual personality, the complete 180 from this cute pale skinned little girl to holy. Every time she's with the main character, she's punching the dude. She's controlling. She's monopolizing. Nothing bad about a yandere with nothing good about a yandere.
It's kind of an insult to yandere that people call her a yandere.
Exactly.
Like, it's just a joke. Like, it's a joke about her character. I think it's like one of those self-referencing, or not self-referencing. It's like an ironic joke that everybody calls her yandere, and she's supposed to be that character, but she never does anything yandere except like.
Oh yeah, I was going to say something else.
Except wave a knife around, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, Ryoko and Sakura, you ain't.
Yeah.
It's like
you ain't.
You're not Yuno Gasai. You're not Kotono Hakatsura. You're not any of these wonderful characters. She's just a giant bitch, and there's no redeeming qualities about her character at all.
Other than she's
I can't
obsessed
find
with
any.
Kirino. Like that's
Other than she's obsessed, she's obsessed with to the point which to the point which she's trying to control Kirino's life. And realistically, I think that might be the underlying reason why I really can't stand her. She's based more or less at some level. She's trying to do it to Kirino. Ami did to Kyosuke. Trying to bring her down to her level because she can't understand all this otaku stuff.
Well, and also
she doesn't like all this otaku stuff.
I just realized something thinking about what you had just said about her kind of trying to control her life. Her anger and her like being a bitch is invested only towards Kirino. Because what happens the first time you meet Ayase is you have that awkward scene where Kyosuke comes in and punts the door open and steals the box full of porn and then trips over and lands with a beautiful Olympic 10 out of 10. The good old dodge the nut shot into land on your sister's tit and crotch.
With her skirt flipped up.
Right, exactly. Just like perfect 10, guys. Great job. Perfect execution.
Cue the classical music.
Here's your gold medal. Anyway. But then they come down and see that, and her first reaction is horror, but then when she realizes her friend's okay, the next thing she's doing is asking for this guy's number. And I'm like, how did you go from how did you immediately go from, like, Jesus? I mean, how do you go from like not caring about something lewd like that happening to your friend, and just being okay with it? Oh, I don't think you were trying to hurt her, blah blah blah. To then being incredibly obsessed with like to the point of being like not understanding whatsoever about her liking otaku stuff, and it's because she doesn't care about him. She cares about Kirino, I guess. It's just weird that she's just so accepting of that whole situation, and then like is like completely not okay with any other situation that revolves around her best friend. And
yeah,
I think
exactly.
you're right. I think the controlling part is very correct. I never really connected that, and I think that's a perfect like what is it like contrast is that like with him she's like whatever, I put up with your crap, but with her she won't put up with anything. Yeah. I just thought about that.
So that's my thing about ISA.
Yeah.
Can't stand her.
No, I can agree to that. Also, her romance at the end kind of just comes out of nowhere. Like, you can kind of tell she likes him, but, like, she likes Kirino way more. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't really... Yeah.
Because
was the sex
I'm watching...
that good when you were taking care of him or something? Like,
Seriously.
was the sex that good? I need to stop reading number 2. Anyway.
Josuke must be packing because holy shit. But
number 2. Yep. For those who don't,
the lewdest Dojin artist ever.
Oh yeah.
No, he comes up with the best names though.
Oh my god, yeah.
The titles for his works are utterly ridiculous.
The circumstances in the dialogue are utterly ridiculous. It's the closest thing that porn comes to comedy. Like, straight comedy.
I'm watching the episode where they kick Kyosuke out of the house and he gets an apartment, and Ayase comes over and she's just like physically abusing this guy, verbally abusing this guy, and I was like, okay, she can't weigh that much. Just pick her up and throw her out the like. You ever watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and you see Jazz out the house?
Yeah,
it's like Carlton. Yeah,
but you can't beat up on women.
Jazzy Jeff.
Lift her up and throw her ass out the house. What are you doing?
It's empty. Yeet.
You had to have your girlfriend.
Why
you had
do
to have your ex-girlfriend kick her out of the house, Kyosuke.
Yeah, exactly. Masterful, by the way, Kuroneko. Known champion Kuroneko.
Just jump off the deep end so hard that they have no words to react with. Yeah, I'd pretty much just let him his own sister and not care about it. How about you? And you're just like, that's not fair. I have nothing reasonable to say about that. I lose. I'm gonna see you later. Bye.
That's not fair. I only got romantically interested in this guy 18 seconds ago. I don't have anything. Characters who aren't romantically interested in Homeboy, we forgot completely about Saori.
Oh my god. Saori.
Team mom of the
Saori.
century.
Yes.
Known champion, Saori Vagina.
What is her last name?
Oh, Vagina Saori.
That would be an unfortunate last name. You know it's true.
Number one.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Swirly glasses are number one. Swirly glasses are the best.
Amen.
On that giant opaque swirly ass glasses.
Is that kind of a reference to your love of the Twilight Zone?
You know what those glasses remind me of? Who here remembers that nerd character from Sailor Moon? I know her.
The slimy nerd character who's always like chasing after Usagi, right?
That's the one.
His dub name was
Melvin. The dub was
Umino. His dub name is Melvin. Yeah.
I call them Melvin glasses.
Okay. Please never speak about the Deke dub in my presence ever again.
The Melvin dub. Melvin? You mean the Deke dub?
What those glasses always remind me of is Naru Sagawa from Love Hina.
Oh,
when she's in her nerd getup.
But yes, Melvin sucks Deke. I agree.
But I
love these guys.
Wow.
Forgetting Saori would be criminal.
Yeah.
Because she's instrumental in bringing all these characters together.
One of the most
insofar as the otaku circle.
One of the most fun Easter eggs I found in that series was during the episode where they do Sayori's origin, and you find out that one of her older sister's friends, or kind of her friend, who previously had the spirally glasses, is not only the manga author who created Mashira, which is Kuroneko's favorite anime, but she also is Kaneko's older sister.
Yes.
Which tells you why Kaneko hates anime so much, is because she's been overexposed to her by her dorky older sister.
Yep.
And that I thought was just such a cool Easter egg to link two different characters together and kind of like fill in the circle. And I thought that was just awesome. I also love how she comes back and she uses a cute nickname to downplay Kuroneko's cosplay. And she's like, "Who do you think you are? What do you think you're judging?" And it's like, and I'm just sitting here laughing. I'm like, she created it. She can call it whatever the hell she wants.
That's true. She has a point.
But yeah, that was. But that Sayori episode was cool. That was my 2 cents on that episode. Was the little Easter egg there. Go ahead. We're continue. Sorry. About Sayori.
But no, she's just, to me, she's one of the most crucial characters, allowing Kirino to fully realize her own otakudom, her own involvement and passion with this media and all this fan base. So we were forgetting about Sayori, and I think it was criminal that we hadn't mentioned her yet.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, you know who else this reminds me of? The one girl from that show Blue Seed.
Oh.
Because she had the same kind of glasses. Okay. Huh. I guess maybe I'm the only one who did.
I have that Blu-ray. I have that DVD set, but I haven't really got around to watching it. But
Also, going on what you said, allowing Kirino to kind of indulge her love for the genre or whatever. And she even goes as far as
Sorry
to,
about that.
Oh no, you're
Sorry
fine,
about
man.
that.
We're talking about Sayori right now.
Which one? Which character?
Saori. Yeah.
The
Majina?
Fujoshi.
No, that's
Fujoshi.
That's Senna.
No, that's Senna.
Yeah.
The one with the tall girl with the swirly glasses.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
known champion, Saori Majina.
Yeah, the known champion. But I also love that she not only helps indulge or let Kirino to kind of discover it and indulge, but she also helps her out. She buys her doujinshi that may not be easily accessible to someone who doesn't know all of the deep dark parts of the otaku web. She gets her to know. She gets her to go and
the part of Japan I want to visit.
Right, to comic. She gets her to go to Comic-Con. She recommends that as a thing. She exposes her to that kind of thing.
Part of Japan I want to visit.
Me too.
Tokyo Ocean Site. Yeah.
Oh
but
yeah.
There's also she also gets her. Apparently, it's kind of hinted at that she gets her to get to know a couple of the more prolific doujin and other makers and stuff that she's known through her connections with said doujin or said anime author and other people like that. So she is a huge part about cultivating that with Kirino, and she also plays Team Mom a lot.
Don't you like characters with trolley glasses, Anubis?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
That's because you were gone.
You know what has one of those? Although she's not a major character, but she's in there. Girlfriend Beta.
Who?
That is a show that we're going to have to get to sometime.
I play Vice
Yes, you do.
And we don't talk about Girlfriend Beta because I lose to it a lot, and I'm tired of it.
What?
There's a card game called Vice Shots where you get to. There's decks based on a bunch of different animes.
Don't you mean Is the Order of Rabbit?
No, yeah. I also hate Rabbit House show just because I lose to it in cards.
I have a deck for that game. I've never played that. I've never played this. I bought this on a whim. I've never actually played the game yet.
Yeah, the Monogatari starter. Yeah. There's actually I will occasionally show up on a different stream for that. I end up playing against a guy. They hold tournaments every Sunday. Occasionally I make it up there for this. So. But don't worry about that. Off topic anyway. But,
I was gonna.
There is no OREIMO set, by the way. There is no. It was for a different game. They decided to sell their rights to a different game, which never made it really off the ground. It was the second set and 2 of 7 that were released before the game shut down. You can still find the packs online. I use them as tokens for other games, but Sadly, there is no OREIMO set. I cannot reach anime card game Nirvana. Sadly, but,
Don't you mean Nerdvana?
yeah, Nerdvana.
No. Well, see, you don't want to go the same route that Kurt Cobain did, though.
Oh,
That's bad.
Oh.
Randy Savage. Anyway, that was a pretty Randy Savage, man.
Damn. Shots fired.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
Feeling the excitement?
okay, but does anyone for real? Does anyone else have anything to say before we talk about our thoughts on the ending?
Not really.
Not really. I think everybody else covered anything I would have said.
Okay.
I'm trying real desperate to think.
First
of anything
season
else.
was better than the second one, except for what we're going to talk about next.
Okay.
Right. I would agree that the first season was a little bit better put together than the second season. They're both not as bad.
I do
think
have to
as-
rewatch the second season someday, though.
No, I agree. The first is probably better than the second. It's also a lot easier to show than the second.
Yeah,
Because
I
the
agree.
tension and the awkwardness isn't as crazy. But
Right.
But no, I would agree to that. But yeah, I'm desperately trying to think if there's any other points I have on the second season whatsoever.
Yeah.
I do. No, I don't really have anything. That's fine. Oh, the only complaint, one of the big complaints, and it's really, when I say big complaint, it's just the biggest complaint I have. It's not really a big complaint. Was that the kind of the school club that the computer game school club that they belong to that seemed to be kind of huge during the OVAs and like they're in every opening sequence, right? And then they get almost like zero development whatsoever at all past those 3 OVA episodes. So I don't know if they originally planned to be part of the second season more and they just cut that content, but they never really played any part in that. And I wanted to see more Senna. I wanted to see more crazy antics with Akagi. Although you did get some during the second season OVAs, but that was my only complaint, was that those were some characters they spent some time introducing and creating, and they never went anywhere with those. But
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
so
Likewise.
anyway,
But so let's get on to
the ending.
The ending that's like
The
that.
ending that destroyed 1,000 computer desks.
Yeah. All right. So this ending, it ended with basically with, and you know, every time when I still think about this ending, it doesn't enrage me. It more confuses me, for the reasons that we're gonna get into. You know, I'm gonna say this right now. I understand why incest is, you know, not really looked that well upon to people. I understand that. Yeah, we're going. Yeah,
nice.
it's good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm messing myself up here.
Sorry.
I understand why it's not looked upon fondly. I understand that. But to me, when it comes to fiction, I always believe when it comes to fiction, anything goes. And, you know, I just don't believe that the author created a crime by, like, you know, writing this ending or anything like that. Same with Karo Watashiya with Kodomo no Jikan, which is another
Personal
shit.
stance.
That's a podcast for another time.
Personal
Yeah.
I have a
stance
lot
on the
to say
whole.
about that one too.
Yeah.
Personal stance on the whole incest thing. I have a few things to say about the ending here, so
Yeah.
give me some space here.
Okay.
First of all,
Go on.
my opinion on incest in fiction, particularly in anime, is that fiction, in general, has advanced through the pushing of boundaries, and it's advanced through over time, over the course of so many centuries, and over the course of however many cultures. Fiction in general has expanded, and it's evolved by pushing boundaries and going in places that people might consider taboo. And I think the entire incest angle is, for some reason, I don't know why it's considered to be such a no-no thing for anime and fiction to do, but
Because it makes me feel weird.
I was gonna say I do have an answer to that question, but we'll get to
Makes
that
me
when
feel
it's my turn.
icky.
Yeah, and it just really irritates the living fuck out of me that people look at fiction doing these things nowadays that are ever so slightly unsettling, and it's just like, burn it at the stake, you don't belong here. And that just completely baffles me, because what you want, it's like, what, do you want fiction to fucking stagnate? Is that what you want?
It's got to make me feel comfortable.
Can I
don't want to get the prickly wicklies.
Can I say real quick that
Go
most
for
of
it.
these edgy teenage American otaku who hate incest and OREIMO are also the same ones that love shows like Rocky Horror Picture Show. And
Most of these people
you're-
are the
you're a
people
goddamn
my age
hypocrite.
that.
You're a goddamn
Most of the
hypocrite
people
if
are
you like-
people
if
my
that's-
age
if
that
that's your
hate
situation.
this type of anime.
Let's not forget one of the big elephants in the room, and that's Japan has a very different viewpoint on this than we do. Like, intermingling with cousins and stuff is a lot more normal there.
It's allowed. It's still not necessarily approved of, but it's allowed.
Yeah.
A lot more.
But it's not looked at it the same way it is here.
No,
I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't know. In America, there are some states where it is legal to date and marry your first cousin. Like,
Yeah,
I live in California, and it's legal here.
yeah,
Well, yeah, but so is
society-
bestiality. So
Well, no, societally you get made fun of for doing that.
Jeez.
The point
But,
is, it might be legal, but societally, people look down.
Yeah.
Like, jokes out there are about people banging their cousins, usually Southern people.
yeah,
Yeah,
which,
because that's
is
usually
funny.
the joke.
Which is funny.
Regardless of how legal it is, you're gonna get looked down upon it.
Which is really
My
funny
second-
about that is
Go ahead.
from a chart, actually, consanguinity is actually much more common in Canada.
Moving on to my second point, it kind of feeds into my feelings regarding Puritanism in Western anime culture. Like, certain thing, and it's a weird form of Puritanism. Things like, here's the
Left-wing
thing,
person. Well, no, I shouldn't say.
hold on. There are
Yeah,
a million and one different anime that come out every single season that have like near pornographic levels of fan service. The reason why I bring this up, and this is a point that came to me yesterday, as soon as yesterday, when the director of Sword Art Online and a few other people working on it said that for the home video release of Ordinal Scale,
Oh yeah, nipples.
like for Asuna's bath scene,
Some people
there
lost
might-
their shit.
there might be a nipple slip for Asuna during a bath scene, the most realistic place for a nipple slip to happen, and it might not even be a full second long. There are a million and one anime airing every single season that have near pornographic levels of fan service. You have like your Monster Musume, your Yosuga no Soras, you have all that shit, and yet Sword Art Online tries to show nipple for less than a second and suddenly burn it at the stake.
It's like get the pitchforks.
How-
We
yeah,
gotta get it.
what about Hawkeye?
Hagena's Blu-ray release has like multiple times where you see Senna's tits. Also, you see
I got a
Komodo
better one.
entirely
I got a better
naked,
one.
and she's
Older
a
anime
9-year-old.
has nudity.
And also has some sex scenes in it too, like
What-
an R-rated
here's-
movie.
The original Berserk
Here's the thing,
has-
though.
Yeah.
And you see, and the same
It's-
people going on and on about. Hold on. Same people going on and on about this stuff are the same people who go on and on about stuff like fucking Project ACO and whatever. And oh fuck.
Here's the thing.
It freaking it drives like a 39-foot pole right up my fucking ass. Just
Because that's probably nostalgic to them, so it gets
And-
a pass.
and I bring this up in regards to OREIMO because it's the same thing. There's so many other worse things that air season after season, but the moment something tries to do it within like a PG-13 level, like PG-13 level restrictions, suddenly that's unacceptable.
Well,
Like,
remember
that
how
can't go there. No.
I actually don't think it's the PG-13 thing. I think it's if a show has a certain level of popularity, it's gonna catch the eye of these people. Because here's why I say that. You remember
okay, real quick, I just want to bring up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to let you speak, but you also have to understand. Monster Musume exists, and everyone was fine with that.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
I can think of some people that weren't fine
I
with
totally
that.
don't like that show, and I'm not okay with what it pitches to me. But I mean, that's fine.
I just can't get over.
I know
just
that,
can't.
exactly. Your point is still valid.
When I hear Monster Musume was a pretty niche show. All things considered, wonderful show. I love it. Pretty niche show. But I'm saying, do people here remember the whole controversy with Valvrave the Liberator?
Of course.
Yes.
How could you not?
Where
the rape scene?
where it included a
Valvrave
rape
the
scene,
penetrator, yeah.
and everyone it included a rape scene, and everyone lost their mind.
Oh yeah. Like, and if you weren't outraged about it, then pretty much you were Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we remember the Valvrave thing. Now, why did that not happen with Yosuke no Sora?
Because one was like heavily promoted and was stream. Back then, Yosuke no Sora was like licensed for streaming. It's the fact that the stuff is now in focus, licensed for streaming and home video release. Back then,
here's my point. Valvrave was in focus. There were a whole lot of people watching Valvrave. There were a whole lot of people on there week to week watching Valvrave, and when people who, and it's a more extreme example than what's going on with OREIMO, but the fact is, people who were watching Yosuke no Sora knew what to expect.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily, but they knew what to expect insofar as nudity, sexuality, all that kind of stuff. You don't expect, and it's less that they didn't expect that in Valvrave, more that it's that kind of thing happened, and it was a huge anime. So when OREIMO comes out and they do the incest thing at the end, and people get mad at it. They're mad at it because it's a big show, even though Yosuke no Sora aired at the same time the first OREIMO did. So if you're like me and you watch that show, then it doesn't really bother you because you actually saw much worse when you watched Yosuke no Sora.
Well, not only that, but think about some of the other 5-minute controversies that were out there. Like, for example, like Asterate's toy.
Oh yeah, the insect. Or what people were mad about that, and then all the people who were mad about that went on to not watch it like they should.
To bring it back to Kevin. Let's bring it back to Kevin here.
But that just lights a fire under my ass that people keep fucking doing this. It even happened again with Eromanga Sensei, and like Eromanga Sensei, within the realms of the story, it's going for the like. We've gone over the whole it's not necessarily incest thing in the Eromanga Sensei episode, but the fact that it went that direction much faster than OREIMO did meant that a lot of people got on the whole fuck Eromanga Sensei. It's what ANN reviewer called it, pure strain otaku syrup. Nick Kramer.
No, that was Jacob Chapman.
Chapman, that's what it was.
And see, here's the thing about
otaku syrup.
Doesn't that almost
slather it all over my pancakes?
Here's the thing about Eromanga Sensei. People were calling it out on the first episode, which had nothing bad at it. The only reason people were calling out Eromanga Sensei is because it's the same author as OREIMO, and they're still mad about OREIMO 7 years later.
Still salty.
And the reason, right when it started doing the thing, it just meant people started pointing, see, I told you it's terrible. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Why do you give a shit? You don't even like it.
If you thought the previous one was terrible, why the fuck did you watch this one?
Yeah, that's like going to like a hardcore chick flick.
It reminds me.
I got
the best example.
Yeah, it's like going to a hardcore chick flick and then being mad that it didn't speak to you and that you thought everything in it was stupid.
And then you went and saw it.
Why did you go to it?
Why are you so
Then you went,
I got the
then
best
you watched,
example.
and then you went and saw the sequel.
Why are you so
Yeah,
terrible?
got-
you're
I
not
got
allowed to
best
be. You're
example.
not allowed to be mad about
There's a
something
comic.
when you force yourself into it. That's why I hate Digibro's opinion on Sword Art. Is because he forced himself to watch it
One
despite
sec.
the fact that he didn't like it originally, and he forced himself to watch it anyway. So he went in with preconceived notions about the genre and about the show itself, and he set himself up for a negative review before he even reviewed it.
Yeah.
And I see
There's
so many people.
And that's how people did with Aramanga Sensei is, oh, I dislike the ending of OREIMO because I'm a closet-fed moron. So I'm gonna hate Aramanga Sensei the second it smells anything like OREIMO because I'm a jaded individual and I'm too stupid to know I'm stupid. Like
Reminds me of
and
a
I see
Tumblr
that
comic.
all the time. I see
Yeah.
that
Reminds
all
me
the
of-
time with people who watch shows with this sort of impress me attitude because they feel obligated to watch it because it's popular or because because like a certain circle of people like it.
Yeah.
With this food, looking for it to impress them, not investing themselves in the show. So it's no wonder they hate the show because they watched it and they didn't.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
thank you.
And they didn't invest themselves in the show, so it's no wonder they didn't like the show. You're gonna watch a show and want it to impress you without being receptive to that? Give me a break.
It reminds me of a Tumblr comic I read where someone says, I don't like sharks, jumps into shark-infested waters, and one of the sharks swims up to him and said, I don't know what you expected.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's exactly that. And again, I think part of the problem with that comes from like the genre itself. In recent years, lends itself whenever a show plays itself on that edgy, risque, incest title like Oniai, Kisexis, things like that. The joke nowadays, or like even again going back to Sword Art, the whole Suga arc, is that yeah, there's that tension there, and it's awkward, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. But at the end, you're expecting that it's not going to go anywhere. It's just something to build tension and drama. And I think that's because of the genre always giving into that expectation that people.
None of these people saw Cream Lemon Be My Baby.
That people stuck with OREIMO. Is that they were like, oh, it's just going to do the bait and switch, and until then I'm going to enjoy some antics and some comedy and some drama. But at the end, everything's going to be okay, and it's going to exactly fill my need to see more standard, morally acceptable content. But then when it's like, no, we're doing exactly what we said from the beginning, you're an idiot, then the show's like, well, I feel offended because you wasted my time. No, you wasted your own time.
These people should have watched Yusuke no Sora. They
Or
would have
at
been
least
so.
acknowledge the risk that this was going to be the ending, regardless of the content of the show.
Yeah. Like there's no way you're gonna watch. My little sister can't possibly be this cute,
Yes,
and
you
you're gonna expect that you're gonna expect that there's zero chance of it happening this way. It's
I
like,
got a
come
picture of
on.
my sisters. 3 of them just disowned me. Oops. They're watching the stream. Wow.
Like these people should have watched Yusuke no Sora, because
No.
then they could.
But it wasn't
have
licensed at the
legitimately been
time, and
surprised.
these people don't believe in pirating.
Or what's the name of that one? Kiyokaze or whatever. There was an older one called.
Koikaze, yeah.
Koikaze, yeah.
Koikaze,
Which
yeah.
took a more realistic bent to it.
Yeah, exactly. But no,
Or Oniai.
there was a part
Well,
of the show
actually,
that was
Oniai.
realistic.
There is a-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There actually is.
No, never mind.
And
I get it. Yeah.
I also want to bring up in the anime, Kyosuke and Kirino have that like sort of faux wedding thing,
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then they sort
that's
of-
one thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, go.
and then they sort of break it. And then I'm still here,
Yeah, no, go on.
Yep,
Yeah.
you good.
but they have the whole fake wedding thing, and then they break it off. It's not really said in the anime whether or not they're actually still dating or not. It actually says much more definitively in the novel. I looked it up last night, come to think of it. And in the novel, in the final chapter, it actually explains that Kyosuke and Kirino continue their relationship, like their romantic relationship, away from everybody else, because, the whole social taboos thing.
Yeah.
So they pull
and they
Yusuke
ju-
no Sora.
And then they buy a water bed and everything's good.
It's either that or wreck all the furniture in the house.
No,
Yeah.
of course.
Because I
Yeah.
swear to God, there was so much
just-
tension. The only way to
Did-
relieve
did-
Hey,
it
they
was
can always,
to
they
bring
can always
like
do.
rabbits.
The
They can
chair's
always do
broken.
OREIMO
The table's
the movie.
broken.
The toilets in the
They can always do OREIMO.
What?
They can always do OREIMO the movie.
What
Like,
they need
find
to
out
do
what
is
happened.
The kitchen
OREIMO
tables-
Yusugino. Hear me out. The OREIMO Yusugino Sora crossover, where it turns out that the place Kyosuke and Kirino ran off to, that Sora and Homeboy and Haruka ran off to, is the same place in the same apartment.
I just like to think that they moved to America since Kirino has been there before, and they just
That
moved
actually
to,
makes more
they
sense.
Just, they just moved to Kentucky, and
Yeah.
they registered their names.
Another
as-
interesting.
and they just,
I'm trying to remember another incest show. What's the one about the locket? The girl that had the locket.
Nisekoi.
No.
That's nice.
Not Nisekoi.
She had
I'm an
the
idiot.
chastity belt.
Oh God!
Oh, that
Recently-
one.
recently
My
sister's
sister's
unusual.
acting strange.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
I love how
so
everybody grew.
Oh.
that show
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't great.
is like the stuff you scrape off the bottom of a pan after you let it sit in the fryer for like 6 weeks. That
Assuming it
show
hasn't went through
is
the
the worst thing I
hasn't-
scraped off. Like, it's enjoyable, but only because of its unbelievably absurd incestuous situations that aren't actually incestuous. Still dancing. Just, oops, you caught me with my head down, butt up, pants off, chastity belt off, pissing on the bed. Oops.
I wonder if that was the show.
This, by the
Here's
way,
the condom.
this
Wasn't that
actually,
the show
this
that
actually happens.
I think
I
that was
can't
the
make this
show
up.
that article.
It sounds like I need to watch that.
That was the show
Yeah,
that I
it
think
is-
some
it is
article
shock
said.
factor, 100%.
No.
It's a
It
shock
was
Sounds
factory.
amazing.
no. Okay, no. It wasn't that. It was Oni. The one that said in this UK article, Japan, stop it. Stop making these things. And I'm like,
No, Japan. No.
There's also, I would
was
like to
it
point out
Japan with the newspaper?
that
Yeah,
there's,
hey,
enough,
Japan.
there's enough of this genre now that I think we can kind of divide it into two different categories. There's the ones that just poke fun at it, like Oni, recently My Sister's Unusual, things like that. There's the ones that kind of poke fun at it and do exactly what we've been accustomed to, which is play the bait and switch, just use it for drama and comedy. And then there's the side that's more OREIMO-ish or Koikaze-ish, which takes a more realistic and like an actual, hey, what if this was
Or yes,
actually
no, sir.
Right.
what was this exactly?
Oh, seven.
What if this was
Special-
actually happening? And let's try to actually give a realistic approach to this. And I think OREIMO kind of lands somewhere in the middle ground, but it lands more towards the trying to make it a real thing. But yes, I know
Yeah.
that in the novels they do end up together. And if you, not that I would ever promote the viewing of illicit material for the purposes of anything but entertainment, but there is a doujinshi series that I have read.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you to
called
talk about that.
Called Hashikitsu Namida, I believe it is. There's 4 parts, and apparently the author, I don't remember the doujin author, but apparently the author went to Takashi Fushimi at an event and asked for his input about how, if the two of them were ever to develop a sexual relationship, how it would play out. And apparently Takashi Fushimi gave him page after page of suggestions.
What a
as well.
champion.
And he actually
That's
captures
funny.
not only the art of
Like,
the
did-
series,
did he-
but also
did
like,
he write them?
No, he didn't. But you would swear that he did because the dialogue
No,
is
no. What I mean was, did he write them down or did he already have them in mind?
No,
like
no,
he already,
I think
he pulled them
I
out of
think
his
the guy-
pocket.
I think the guy took notes because they apparently allegedly
Okay.
had a
What's the
conversation
author's
plan.
name?
I don't
What's
know.
the author-
I don't know the doujin author's name. It's
said
called
Damn it.
Hashikitsu
That was
Namida.
close.
Hashikitsu Namida, but you can look them up. I've in all of the comments threads I see, no one. They're just like, dude, I can't fap to this. It's too pretty. It's too beautiful. It's too romantic. Like this
Sure.
is garbage. There's nothing weird about this. There's nothing gross about this. This is
Well,
adorable
well-
and romantic. And it's apparently like, and it's a really well thought out. So if you're looking for what if scenarios or what would happen, or I guess really well drawn and written fan fiction, apparently that's as close to canon as you can get as far as that goes. However, it does have an ending, and it is kind of a cliffhanger. And guess what? How did you expect this to end?
Ending.
Well, just imagine a special edition of this stuff comes out. It's like that comes. You know how when you get the big special editions and stuff, it comes with lots of goodies, whether it be like soundtracks or cards or whatever.
Yeah.
It just basic.
Just comes out with the fifth volume of that in the special edition. Just
No. I was gonna say that. No, I was gonna say it just comes with a pack of condoms and a blindfold.
But we have them already. We already talked about the VR suits. Oh, I guess we did that before the show. Anyway, there's now virtual reality weddings where you can like marry your waifu in Japan. I saw something about that, and like.
Okay. Can't you see some jackass? Can't you see some jackass just taking out the thing and then putting in like a different picture or something like, or a different video? You'll end up marrying. No. You'll end up marrying Psy or some shit.
Oh god. Anyway, but are you done on? Is this anything else you gotta say?
Yeah.
Because we've been jumping off at every point you've made.
I'm proud that I've kind of had such a great like little springboard for a good conversation there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But there's another thing I want to bring up is now Eromanga Sensei is strongly at first it was strongly implied, but later it was pretty much confirmed through Cameo that Eromanga Sensei and OREIMO take place in the same universe.
Are you talking about the last episode of OREIMO? What you're about to talk about?
What?
I know. Is the point you're making about to link to the last episode of OREIMO? Because I have something that I have to say about that. So we saw the same line of dialogue.
Which one?
At the end of the last episode of OREIMO, after the wedding scene, and when Kyosuke and Kirino are just walking through Akiba doing their usual thing, they're going to an IRL meet for Otaku Girls Club. And Kirino states very explicitly that, hey, by the way, there's a new girl of Otaku Girls Club today. Or Otaku Club today. By the way, she's a girl. And then she kind of weebs to herself a little like, oh, I hope she's a little sister character.
Actually, no, I wasn't talking about...
And it never gets expanded upon. Wouldn't that
Wouldn't
that be an interesting way for, like, Sagiri to figure out a way to get out of the house or have a justification to get out of the house more often?
That actually would be amazing.
But anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
I actually wasn't talking about that, but that is an interesting theory there. But it's actually like...
Oh, I found it.
Oh, neat.
He was looking for it the entire time.
What, the Japan stop?
The author's name is Hoshikuzu Namida.
No, that's the name of the manga, I think, right?
All right. Then the name of the author is Fujibayashi Haru. Wow.
Haru
Okay.
Fujibayashi. Don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't keep hands where I can see him.
Anyway,
I felt like crying more than I did laughing during that whole thing. So whatever, man. But go ahead.
But back to what I was trying to say. At the end of OREIMO, Kyosuke more or less it goes through a line of pretty much dumping every other girl just to be with Kirino. And you could see it as him sort of alienating everybody else.
Yeah. Don't forget the big fight.
Oh yeah.
You can talk about that in a minute, but a lot of people were like really upset about the ending because they felt it's like he's just ruining his relationships with literally everybody to be with his sister. But if you actually watch Eromanga Sensei, you still see this is just a theory, but you still see Kyosuke going out and being friendly with Kirino and Kuroneko and Saori. So there's sort of a theory that Eromanga Sensei takes place after OREIMO, and like everybody kind of reconciled their relationships anyway, and like he didn't alienate everybody as much as we thought he might have. So
Well-
I just thought that was an interesting point to bring up.
Well, even when he announces officially, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but
Yeah, we can hear him.
Okay.
Yeah.
The feedback into my own headset is coming out a little weaker than usual. But he even,
Okay.
I think he even, Kuroneko and Sayori and whatever kind of just like dismiss his relationship. So does Senna, although they're not really close. They're just kind of like, well, I mean, it's awkward and weird and stupid, but as long as it doesn't prevent us all from hanging out, then I don't really mind it. Shut up, Asuna. I know I need to wake up soon. Don't judge me. To be fair, I don't actually use that app to wake up in the morning. I use it to I use it literally to just make sure that I get a third alarm in the afternoon to make sure I'm out the door on time, or a third alarm in the morning. It doesn't actually wake me up. That would be absurd. That'd be crazy. That wouldn't be me. Anyway.
Sure.
So
The
all right.
secret's out.
Too much about me, man. Too real. But I think you're right. I would have, for some of the characters, like if it ever came out to Ayase or Kaneko, I could easily see it, and they're not in the cameos. I could easily see them dismissing it. But the rest of the weirdo otakus he's friends with, they already. I feel like they would just be like, I mean, as long as you're not making out incessantly in front of us, or incessantly in front of us.
But now,
Then we don't care. Whatever, just be friends with us. I don't care. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I would like to imagine that that's correct. Yes.
Yeah. We'll see if I am correct in season 2. Hopefully, if we get an Eromanga Sensei season 2.
Right. I would also literally scream from the top of my lungs, like to the point where like you'd have to do a pan out shot where you show the globe, and then you show like you pan out even further, and then you see Mars with like a pair of like earplugs in, saying "Shut the hell up over there." Like if I am correct about that theory that Sagiri is the new member of the troupe, that ends up joining at the end, that they briefly mention but don't really mention at the end of OREIMO season 1, if I'm correct, or season 2.
That would be great. Let's go with that. I would love it.
Eromanga and OREIMO.
Think of the degeneracy that they
movie.
Think of the degeneracy that Kirino as an author and Eromanga Sensei as a drawer could do.
Yeah.
Tsukasa Fuji's cinematic universe.
Emoto cinematic
Stalls.
universe.
Yeah.
That would,
The Tsukasa Fushimi cinematic universe.
Anubis has got the right idea. That's what I'm getting at.
Your
Yeah,
move,
just-
Marvel.
just think of how much salt would flow through the veins of.
well,
I would just post a picture
Oh,
of Kirino
this
with
would-
water pouring on her saying your tears are delicious.
well,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
yeah, but this would be biblical. This would be biblical. The Dead Sea'd be gone.
The Dead Sea, the saltiest place on earth next to yo bitch ass.
No, the salty swing is next to a Magic the Gathering tournament, but whatever.
Oh, we
I
have.
played that game for 12 years, I know.
That's a story for another time.
I got all
No, no.
kinds of stories. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done with whatever I'm
seen
going to
some pretty-
say.
Yeah. Okay. So
Who's next?
I've seen some pretty nasty Battletoads playthroughs. Some of
Are
which
we gonna wrap up soon? Because it's
I've seen
We will.
what
Yeah.
my perspective's basically been said. All I really have to say is, okay, I get that people don't like incest,
yeah.
but it's a fucking cartoon. Calm down.
I don't hear these people complaining about some of those Prince songs.
Undo the calamity that is your memories.
Yes.
my thing
Yeah,
is
That's one of my
Hakuna
favorites.
Shut up and go.
Yotatas.
shut up and go watch Genocidal Organ. Movie that when it comes out is gonna bomb, I'm sure. Because
Go.
Oh, absolutely. The only people talking about Genocidal Organ are the people who are fucking king making it as like the next Akira.
Which they've tried to do a couple of times, which plummeted.
Never happened.
Like,
Oh
fucking-
please! You remember what happened to
So,
Red
so,
Line?
so both of those people are gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
I was right about Redline.
Both of them.
Okay. Okay.
I was
let-
right about Redline. I will be right about Genocidal Organ.
Oh, I
Not
have no
may
idea.
be
I
right.
have no doubt.
will be right.
Can I go next on the OREIMO topic about the ending?
Yours?
I have a lot to say, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time left.
Yeah.
First, I'd like to talk about, in my opinion, there are 3 groups of individuals who watched the ending of OREIMO, who got to the ending and didn't hate the show previous to that. First of all, I'd like to mention that I'm pretty sure OREIMO had really, really good viewership and popularity numbers going into that ending, right?
Yeah, it did.
Like, up until the ending. So it was a very popular show, loved by a lot of people for whatever reason up until that ending. And then suddenly there was a massive backlash. Well, I mean, Anubis already talked about it, because the more popular a show gets, the more of the ruffians or the casuals or the people who don't indulge in the darker or more open side of
the rabble-rousers.
Right, the normies, the flack. Anyway,
Yeah.
The people we put up with so we can have better DVD sales. Anyway, those people, the more of those people are going to be there. So of course, the reaction to things like that, or the sword art nip slip, are going to be more visceral, more louder. They are the loud minority, and we have to keep remembering that. Is that for every comment on Facebook or Crunchyroll's cast or Anime News Network that you see, there's going to be 100 other people who just don't give a shit, or who liked it, or who aren't angry enough about it. They might be disappointed, but they're not angry about enough to actually get up and write something angry and abuse other people on the internet for it.
Just imagine some guy pissed off writing down this big diatribe and then using like Babelfish to try to translate it so they could send it over to Japan.
Oh god.
To the Japanese.
Yeah, to like some.
Oh god. Yeah.
Because you know some jackass has done it. You know they have.
No, they have. I'm
Dear
sure they have.
A1 Pictures.
But when they get it doesn't come through. But no. When they get it, it isn't fucking right. It just says a bunch of weird shit about like how they were butt fucking a squirrel or something weird. That doesn't make any sense.
Wow, they found the truth. Maybe Battlestar was what I thought it was. Anyway.
Okay.
But that's the first category, are the people who just like, but there's the people who were angry. There's 3 categories. There's the people who are angry about incest, and first of all, I'd like to discuss that, guys, truth be told, we don't pull fictional concepts out of our butts. They're always based on something real, okay?
Exactly.
So, incest happens. Sorry to say. It is a real thing that does happen. Is it a common occurrence? No, it's not a common occurrence. Is it a rare occurrence? Yes, it is a rare occurrence. Does it happen? Yes, absolutely. And
yeah, especially after Leonard Skinner concerts.
Yeah. To keep it, I'm trying to keep it on a serious tone real quick. But to talk about that, there is a difference also between incest as we see it in the jokey media, where it's like, oh, you see 2 country bumpkins, screwing each other, and there's banjos playing, and it's all about the sex. Oh, I like to pork my sister because she's got a nice rap. Like, there's that image of incest, and that's what the public image of incest is. Kirado's and Kyosuke's relationship, I mean, if it's sexual to you, that's because you're sexualizing it. To me, their relationship is 100% about trust, and about being able to trust each other. They've been asking for advice from each other for the entirety of the series. There's a trust there. There's an actual romance there. There's a relationship there. Now, could it evolve into a sexual relationship? Absolutely. Do sexual relationships have necessarily mean 100% they're going to have kids together? No. And especially since the ending is handled so responsibly, with them understanding, well, I mean, we can't keep this up. We can't live in society like this. So let's basically, I took the ending as, let's get it out of our systems and move on and live our lives. And that's a responsible way to look at it. So me saying, if they decided to keep this together, they might just keep it at a romantic level. There might be a sexual level, but are they going to be dumb enough to reproduce? They're too responsible of adults together. They're too responsible, and I don't think that's where it's going. So if anyone out there is sexualizing their relationship, they're doing it, not Tsukasa Fushimi, not A1 Pictures, not the anime, and not the characters. It is simply... and I'm sorry to say, but I mean, it's hard to do that when there is so much hentai of everything these days. It is so hard to separate moe or romantically interested characters from the sex that is inevitable because of that. So when I saw the relationship, I saw something reasonable. But there's the people who think incest is bad because incest is bad, and that's their justification. And honestly, as long as they're not hurting other people, and as long as they don't plan to breed, which, frankly, first-generation incest doesn't really carry that huge of a problem genetically. But it's still, being responsible people, I don't see that happening. So I have zero issue with it, and I think it comes from a lack of understanding of the topic and what you're really looking at. And I'm not justifying it. I'm not encouraging anyone to go, be interested in their sister. That would be ridiculous.
No.
But,
Yeah.
if it happens and it seems like it's mutually, and it seems like it's mutually good for both of them, emotionally good for both of them, just either walk away if you don't like it or just accept it. Like, it just happens. It does happen, whether you like it to or not. And no amount of pushing your values on it is going to change that. So that being said, the people who hate it because of the incest angle, in my opinion, do it because they are insecure with their own fundamental understanding of sexuality and relationships. Because you only fear something you don't know. You only hate something you fear. And they just don't know any better. And that's our fault, honestly, as a culture, that we haven't explained the reasons why it's bad. We've just told people it's bad, don't do it, and scorn anyone who does. Second,
and then make them watch Joe Dirt.
Precisely, or Rocky Horror Picture Show, as I said before. So anybody out there who hated OREIMO's ending, but you like those two things or anything with similar subject matter, and you're not mad about it, you're a hypocrite. Just remember that.
Oh, and one more thing.
Second, let me get to the end. Second category. Kuroneko didn't win. This show's dumb. My tier 1 gothic lolly waifu bait didn't win. This show's garbage. Kurano's a bitch. I'm like, hey, you haven't
Stop talking about me.
Hey, you haven't had a real sibling. Period. I'm sorry. You also didn't actually watch the show because you didn't understand Kuroneko's art. I'm sorry you had a bad time. Try not watching anime at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're on a bender. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Listen to what we've said in this podcast. It makes sense. And honestly, like I said, I'm sad for Kuroneko. I really am. I felt so torn when she burst out crying during the OVAs because she knew that she had taken a risk, but she, I guess, never really thought that it would end the way that she knew it might. And she was just, she got herself too invested with it, and it tore her apart. And I feel so bad for her. And there's a part of me that, dislikes Kirano and Kyosuke's relationship, even though I knew it had to happen because of how badly it tore her up. So I do feel bad for you, and I'm sorry that your waifu lost. That being said, this was how it was going to end. And then the third type of people who dislike OREIMO are the people that Anubis and the rest of us talked about, who went into the show expecting the bait and switch, watching it as a casual comedy anime for the season, and not recognizing it as going where it was going, and they got fooled by the ending. And they were upset because they invested themselves in all the characters, even Kirano, even Kyosuke, even all the other people in the show who all have their varying levels of degeneracy. And then they were like, but this show did exactly what it said, and I'm mad about that. So I'm going to hate the show. And it's just it's because you didn't either understand what you were watching, or you didn't factor in the risk of finding something that you don't like in what you were watching. I mean, this is entertainment. There's a niche that it's trying to fill. There's a people, and if you got something more profound out of it, that's great. But if you didn't, don't complain to other people on the internet about it. Don't tear people apart because they enjoyed this series for more than what you took it for. As far as the ending goes, there was some comment about trivia about this ending. All I know about it is that there was some kind of bureaucratic last-minute decision made by somebody involved with the project that said, Tsukasa Fushimi, we can't publish this ending as is or as it is in the manga. We have to alter it, and we have to do it kind of last minute.
Right.
And I know most of the complaints, the honest complaints outside of the 3 outliers I just discussed, the honest complaints were that it felt rushed, it felt like a complete neck break 180, and that the actual relationship, if we had 2 more episodes maybe, that it would have been better, it would have been better paced, but that it was too rushed and it felt a little ingenuine near the end. And I can agree with that.
We forgot one other character, unless it was when I stepped out.
No, that's fine.
The mother.
Ooh.
Kosuke's mother.
She's really good in the books. I didn't get much. First of all, the fact that
she seemed kind of cool with everything, you know. She had that you know. Remember at the end of the first season where she has this look of I know what you're into, but it's okay. It'll just be between us.
Oh no! When she literally goes into his room and knows he's looking at porn, and and he closes it and he's just like, he closes the window or whatever, or closes the screen, and then she's like, "Oh, okay, you're not looking at anything," and then she like quote for quotes him for what he was talking about earlier. Like he was talking about like an episode or before earlier, and he's like, "Oh, so I'm just gonna quote you because you were talking about porn earlier, so don't try to hide it from me." I mean, that you kind of I feel like you kind of have to do that as a mother of a teenager. You just have to expect them to be looking at pornography. Like it's gonna happen, especially when it's on the internet. So easily accessible. In Japan,
banging
it's
on your.
more.
You got the door locked. There's banging outside. I know what you're doing in there.
No, Mom, Kirino's in her room. It's not what you're thinking. And she's like, Jesus Christ! I just been masturbating.
Door down.
What the hell?
And then
You're moving in with your aunt. There's no discussion. Get out!
And then Mom has a smug look on her face.
No, she's actually fantastic in the books too, because you can tell that she loves Kirino and loves all that she's into. But like, there's a scene where literally Kyosuke comes home and like his mother's just sitting in the lobby of their house or whatever, and she's just smiling, reading a magazine or whatever, and just humming to herself, and he's like, "What's so good?" And she's like, "What are you so happy about?" And she's like, "Oh, the neighbors just complimented me on my children." And he's like, and he just like jokes to himself. He's like kind of saying it as a joke. He's like, huh, "Well, I mean, I am pretty amazing." And she's like, "Don't be foolish. They were talking about Kirino." And she goes, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ!
Savage.
His mother is savage. Like literally says that.
Oh, that's
And I'm
wonderful.
just like, you guys, if any of the viewership or you guys haven't read them, I would try to find a place where you can get an English translation of the books.
I'm surprised they
they're
haven't
very
licensed them.
I think they've been
No
licensed.
part of that series will ever be licensed in English dub or translation.
That's
officially.
great nonsense. I was talking about Kirino.
Yeah, no, that's nonsense. They were talking about Kirino, obviously. She just goes back to her
Oh
book.
my god.
And but yeah, about the ending, like I like the result, the fact that Kirino ends up with Kyosuke. I feel like it would be a disservice to the intellectual or the thinking, the actual people who indulge in this kind of series, and also like the deeper parts of anime that most casuals don't get to. I feel like it would be a disservice to us to just go back on all the writing you set up ahead of time.
Exactly.
And just like not fulfill what you've set up the entire season, because that's what I hate about the bait and switch animes of any kind, is when you spend the whole time building this relationship and then either last minute you cop out on it.
Here is just pulling the rug out.
Or you switch to somebody different. Like,
Oh, that was like the ending.
Go ahead.
That was like the ending to Papa Kiki. If anyone's seen that.
I didn't. But that's the ending to Haganai. Why can't I say this word right?
Haganai.
It's the ending to Haganai. Is that they build all this time with building his relationship and this forced marriage and all this other stuff, and with Senna, and then at the end of the series, the author just cops out and says, "Nope, nothing happens." And it's like, I don't know if you understand how realistic human emotions go, but when you're attracted to someone, it's really hard to let it go unless they die or choose or vehemently put their foot down by dating someone else.
Oh,
Like,
can I?
Even then,
Like,
Can I give the
even
like
then.
cultural
thing
barriers
about-
were damned. If he was in love with his sister, there's no way I could accept he just dropped everything.
Wait, can I
and
give the
went
thing
to
about Papa Kiki?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
That-
All right, so Papa Kiki, the series, you know the premise, right?
Yeah.
Where the college guy has to look after his three.
Oh, yes, I've seen that series. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the New Girls, I'm
two
Your
are not-
Father. Yeah.
Yeah. The three.
Yeah, two are not related by blood. One is, and basically the TV series made it like he was gonna go with like the college girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, an OVA comes out
Does he end up with
years
Sora?
after. What?
Does he end up with Sora? The redheaded girl? Is that what you're
No.
getting at? Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he
he
does.
goes with the oldest sister at the end.
Great, the 14-year-old. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh,
The whole thing with,
now we're
the whole
mixing
thing
incest
with
with
Haganai.
pedophilia. Yay.
the whole thing with Sora that Sarah brought up, that just seems to me like the story ending version of a shrug.
Right. Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
like, oh,
It's
Like the author just gave up at the end. It's like, I can't do anything with this.
it's non-committal.
Exactly.
he goes with his
You
sister.
spend this whole series building up this relationship, and then it just stops. Like it just it
There
plateaus
was a
and
slight
flatlines.
time jump too.
Yeah.
There was a slight time jump too.
If you're gonna
in that final OVA.
if you're gonna fucking tease us
I'm
with
gonna
this
have to watch
shit,
that,
like
'cause-
if you're gonna toe the line with all of this shit, you might as well just cross the line altogether.
Well, that's
Don't
the
just
thing,
suddenly
is that
back
they
off
think
of it
they
and
think
go,
whenever you get a best girl war going with a series, which OREIMO had a really bad one, Hagana and Isekai,
oh
they all have really
sweet
bad
Jesus,
ones.
it did.
Oh
They all have
god,
really
yeah.
bad ones. Like they're violent, like level girl wars going. It's hard for the author to stick with his guns and say, well, no, this is what I want to write. This is my, to quote Kuroneko, masturbation fodder, and deal with it. This is what I wanted to write. And a lot of authors, just so they can keep making money, will cop out of it so they don't make anyone mad. But what this actually does is, to the fan base that is more dedicated, the ones that want an ending, don't get it, and then now they're enraged. So you pander to the least common denominator, and
Exactly.
you exclude the higher. I don't want to use the term refined, but I will use the term refined viewer and indulger of this kind of stuff.
Just lack of a better
and,
term.
And for if I can appreciate OREIMO for anything, if I had to forsake everything else, if I had to appreciate OREIMO for one thing, it's that it has an ending and he sticks with his guns. He set out to write this story and he stuck with it. He had to change a few things. He had to pander a little bit. But the overall result is what the show was built to do, and it's what
the gravestone of the light novel author. I
stuck with
realize-
my fucking guns
I wrote an incest story.
and stuck with it, and that's hard to do, especially in the
I
current
made it.
plateau of light novel authoring. The reason we don't get a lot of endings to stuff is either because honestly because more than not anyway, you sell light novels and mangas and animes on the concept, on the pitch, and we see that Narumanga Sensei is that. If you see that Narumanga Sensei is that he writes 3 full volumes of 2 different novels and presents them to his publisher, and his publisher says, "I'm not reading through that. Give me a couple sentences that pitch each of these concepts, just the concept."
And that's how you get the title
and that's how you
of
get
the said light novel.
and that's how you get the contract. Exactly. That's also how you get the ridiculous title. And that's how you get the contract. And then we'll publish you, we'll fund you everything, and you just write it. Well, that's why we don't have any good follow-through. That's why so many of these animes have good backswings but no follow-through, is because they only sell it on the good concept, but sometimes that concept doesn't always pan out, or the author doesn't have the skill or the time to pan it out properly. So
it's interesting you say that, because we were just talking earlier about how endings seem rushed and things like that, and that's a common complaint. It's like, yeah, because there's never been anime that felt like that the ending was rushed or anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. There's also all those animes that end, right? Oh yeah, like 1% of them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're light novels.
Yeah, a lot of them are left kind of
Yeah.
open-ended just for the sake of possibly creating sequels and things like that.
It's like,
We're
I
giving a reason
appreciate
to
what
go
you
back.
because it. Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
Yeah, Cube over there calls it the read the manga ending.
You were talking about how
Yeah, commercials. I call them.
you were going for like how like the light novels have a good concept but they don't follow through.
Yeah.
That's like how sometimes they also introduce really great characters, and you watch, and it's like this character should have its own spin-off. That's how good, and that's like me with if you ever a show called No Kame.
Nope.
My multiple choice answer is ruining my life.
Nope.
You never heard of that?
No, never.
Nope.
Anubis, you know that one.
It's familiar to me. Yeah.
The one with the one,
I don't know any of the characters though. I'm gonna tell you right now.
the character with the breast implant.
Oh, it's the silicone titties.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
I would love an entire like separate spin-off just on that character.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you were saying earlier, Sheridan, how OREIMO sets out to tell a story, and I appreciate that for it.
Hmm.
But it's like it reminds me of Shuffle, which is a show I didn't finish. Did to my favorite girl, but I still appreciate that it was tell a story. It set out to choose a character, and it went with that.
Right, and I mean, if you want the other endings, just go play the game. It's actually one of the better reviewed light novels out there, and there's plenty of English adaptations, both official and non-official. Yeah, and that's what I liked about Shuffle. That's why Shuffle, for me, luckily, was one of my first harem animes ever. And I liked the genre because the ending didn't disappoint me.
Right.
I also saw it in English dub first, and I could literally marry Monica Rial right now, despite the fact that she's like 25 years older than me. But whatever. I could marry her right now, and I would never look back. I love that woman to death. Anyway, done with me being creepy. And she played Asa in the Shuffle dub. So I mean, she just brought a life to that character, and so my favorite girl won. But I know that wasn't the case for a lot of people, but they still liked it because it had a completed story.
Exactly.
And that's rare these days. And that's what if I can say anything else for OREIMO, it's that it had a completed ending. Could it have been better? Absolutely. Could it have been less rushed? Absolutely. But it set out to tell a story. It finished that story. It stuck to its guns, and I think it did a good job in the environment that it was born out of.
Right, given the circumstances.
Given the circumstances, I think it did a better job than most things. Which most of them said, "We'll just give up. We won't have an ending. We'll make them go read the light novels or whatever." And that's. And I love that about that series. It's one of the things I can say with confidence that's good about the show to anyone who doubts it, is that, but it has an ending. How many of your favorite animes don't have an actual ending? I'm trying to remember. So, like, as far as that goes, like, I think I've kind of fleshed out everything that I had to say about it. But it's just a show with an incredible amount of layers too. Like, if you go back and rewatch it, a lot of the stuff that I didn't catch the first time, you catch the second time. You get a clearer picture of Kuroneko's like intentions during her when she's dating him. When you go through and you know how the relationship's going to end, and you look at her dialogue and stuff, and especially with like the first season, all the little Easter eggs like the pink iPod. Which, by the way, if you don't remember this, the pink iPod is where Kirino, as a kid, when she was first being like looked down upon by Monami. It's where she put a bunch of little self-journals to herself, saying, "Hey, we have to be really strong, and we have to like keep moving and move ourselves upwards so that we can be on his level because we love him and we want to be with him and we want him to appreciate us and stuff." And I can just imagine if Kirino had lost that iPod instead of the DVD. Like, I honestly believe that Kirino swatted his hand because she was far more concerned with protecting that iPod, and that's why she probably just as soon as she had it in her bag, she walked out forgetting the DVD.
Right.
That would be my personal opinion of what happened there. Because if he had, I kind of want to sit down and write a crappy fan fiction about what happens with that series. If in the first episode he finds that iPod and has to deal with the fact that his sister has an incestuous attraction towards him without any of the previous relationship building occurring, instead of finding out that she's an otaku. Like that whole.
I think we should wrap this up now.
Yeah.
I think we ought to wrap this up. It's getting really late.
It is getting
I was actually going to suggest that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, because I was going to try and cut it off at 11 because he has to be at work.
Got a couple people who need to
be that didn't happen.
But that didn't happen. That's all right.
I just want to say this one final little thing, and then we'll go to final thoughts. Okay. I'm pretty sure everyone in this room knows what Game of Thrones is, right?
Sure.
I know of it.
Yeah.
Okay, how come when this stuff happens in Game of Thrones, no one talks about it, with the exception of that infamous rape scene. But when
which Claire McCaskill got all ass hurt about.
Yeah, but the thing is, all this incest in Game of Thrones, nobody was talking about it at all. Like no one was getting all whatever about it. But yet when anime does it, oh my God, Japan, what are you doing? What is going on? We need to nuke Japan again. Da 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 da.
America loves their blue bloods, so
that's why Japan was hit with a tsunami.
Well, here's
I know that because they're making incest anime.
It's because
obviously.
anime fans are stupid.
Yeah.
Anime fans are stupid and entitled.
Yeah, that's the best answer.
Because you don't hear Game of Thrones fans complaining about all this incest. It's just anime fans because certain anime fans can't deal with media they don't like existing.
Yeah, it's also the fact
This
that
thing exists. It must be destroyed.
I think also in anime they use it as in anime as opposed to Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, the only people who think the incest is okay in Game of Thrones are the people partaking in it.
In it, yeah. I was just gonna say that.
I know the answer. It's because
and everyone else, like, literally one of the characters gets paraded through the streets naked in shame because people find out about it and they're shaming her. People throw shit and rotten vegetables and stuff at this character, as they're being paraded through the streets. As a mark of shame. Like, everyone else sitting outside of that relationship scorns it and sees it as distasteful.
But Eromanga does it as a fetish aspect.
But Eromanga, anime in general, and OREIMO tries to take it and do something positive with it, which is the different. Like, most of them use it as a comedic element, or in the case of OREIMO,
in the case of OREIMO, in the case of
go ahead.
In the case of OREIMO, I kind of feel it does it a little bit more matter-of-factly.
Yeah.
With a bit of a positive spin, honestly, but generally it's just a matter of fact. This is something that ended up happening. Okay.
Right. A long time ago, in a bathroom far. No.
Male. So I think we should read that and then end this because it's getting really.
Okay, so let's get to that email.
I'm sorry, just getting super late.
Don't worry about it.
It's one little thing. It's just because Game of Thrones takes it in a very negative light, and then in OREIMO and a lot of anime, it tries to put a positive spin on it, which to most people says you're trying to justify this immoral behavior. Game of Thrones at least does the moral thing and scorns it. Also, half of the characters that partake in it are evil, so it's okay. It's part of them being evil. But go ahead.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was it sent in the NTR inbox, or was it in the Otaku Midnight inbox?
I don't know.
NTR Radio inbox.
What?
It's not here not in the NTR Radio inbox.
So,
all right,
check your box.
Okay, I guess I'll check my box then. Oh wait, that's
if it's stupid, don't bother because
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
No titties and carrot cake, Zeke.
Yeah, we got your number, dude. Alright.
No, see, no way, nope, no, sorry, Zeke, I ain't reading that. Nope.
Whoops. What did he do? What did he say now?
No.
Yeah, we'll probably do it after the show.
Yeah. Yeah, he's talking about, hey, pimp the Discord. No, we're not. I'm not pimping the Baka Gaijin Discord. No thanks. But,
this is NTR Radio and Otaku Midnight.
Yeah. Sorry, Bae. But,
Did you really just call him Bae?
Sorry, fam.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. No, I just use that.
For calling Zeke Bae, I think it is too late.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, Kirino is amazing. So, all right. So
I didn't choose the Kirino life. The Kirino life chose me.
All right. So, Kirino is awesome, and I want to marry her. Yes, drawing girl. We know.
It's okay. I'll give you my number.
All right. Well.
All right. So, let's talk. All right. So let's just move it to the end. So, I guess that's the end of the show. So,
I suppose.
Closing thoughts, I guess.
Yeah. Let's.
1 minute or less, I suppose.
Saradin, you go first.
OREIMO is a lot more than what the haters say it is. It is, in fact, almost entirely different than what a lot of the haters say it is. If you had a problem with the show, I recommend you go back and rewatch it and look at some of the stuff we've talked about and kind of just rediscover it and try to keep your mind open. It is part comedy, but it also tries to take a very realistic approach to a topic that a lot of other animes just use as comedic relief. Give it a chance, and don't scorn other people for enjoying it. There's more to it than you may have discovered. And that's all I have to say.
Leave Carino alone! Leave him alone!
As for me, OREIMO is instrumental in my growth as an otaku, and I still view it very fondly now. I respect it for having the ending that the end result that the creator in a way got the ending he wanted.
Yeah.
Through and at the very least, it got an ending. And a lot of phenomenal characters, wonderful humor, of course. And it's just very fascinating watching Kyosuke and Kirino's relationship developing over time. So that's it.
Any of the NTR radio family?
I'll go.
Okay.
OREIMO is a lot like Evangelion, in that every time you watch it, you catch something new. And it rewards you for paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
The hierarchy goes as follows. Kuroneko, Saori, Senna, Kaneko, Manami, Ayase.
Ouch. Should have said poop, then Ayase.
Okay.
I fully expected him to do that.
Kaneko, the dirt. Manami, Ayase.
The dirt.
The dirt. Boom.
Okay. I'll go ahead. Kirino's got a really nice ass. The defense rest.
Yeah.
No. It actually is a pretty fun show. It's got a. It's hard to explain, but when it came out, what year was that? 2010.
Yeah, the
2010.
first.
Yeah.
The second was 2013.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
how you say the defense. I like how you say the defense rests as if OREIMO is on trial here.
It is on some people's list. You know that. but anyway, moving along. Yeah. When I had a crappy ass blog, it was on my 2010 list of top 10 favorites of the year. I do remember that. I don't remember what order they particularly were in, but I know it was on there. So yeah, give it a look. Okay, the people who want hyperkinetic action and things like that, this is not going to do anything for you whatsoever.
Nope.
But
No, they want hyper manly action.
Yeah.
They gotta get their
Yeah.
testosterone through their
Yeah.
cartoons.
yeah, okay, Saturday mornings are there for you.
They don't play cartoons anymore.
Okay, fine. You can
The
watch
only thing they show on
C-SPAN.
Saturday morning is fucking 700 Club or some shit.
No, they can watch
What's wrong with
C-SPAN.
Yeah, Pat Robinson. I just heard about this Oriental animation called that was crafted by the devil.
There's your second.
some fucking it caused a meteor.
Goodness gravy.
Imagine.
Alright.
Wait. Here we go. Imagine if OREIMO was a Saturday morning cartoon. No. Just imagine the eye catches. Because it would have her smacking Kyosuke upside the head. It's like,
Especially if it was old school, yeah.
yeah. It's like smack. OREIMO will be right back.
My God.
My little sister can't be this cute. We'll be right back after these words.
Oh my God.
And
Okay.
it's gotta have
You
a
like
lesson at
incest?
the end
Here's
of
a
each
helpline.
episode.
Yeah.
So that's OREIMO.
Make it better.
It's on,
Make it
it's on PBS, right? It's on PBS right after Sesame Street.
Make it better.
No. Every
Make it better.
episode has to have a lesson at the end.
Oh,
Make it better. The bumpers are voiced by Victor Caroli.
Wear
Okay, let's...
wear a helmet if you're gonna dig in.
Oh, and I got a better one. They have to make one of the characters black and in a wheelchair.
We're not talking about doozy bots. Okay.
Who's next?
Okay, alright, so, alright, who's next?
We'll talk about that one later.
Me.
Alright,
Um,
V's go on.
It's pretty much what K-God said. It's an enjoyable show. I do need to rewatch it. It's been a few years.
Yes, me too. That's why I wasn't able to. Besides having a bit of a just shitty day, I haven't seen it in a while, so I had to go.
I'm
purely off
more of a
memory.
fan of the first season than the second, even though
Same.
I did like the ending. The only thing I would have done with the ending, fast forward the pregnant ending. Just
Hey,
you went that far.
There's a PSP visual novel that you can get the English patch to, and if you have the emulator, and literally the last, it's a straight Galga, not an Eroge, thank God, but it's a Galga, and you can route any of the girls, including Kaneko, Sayori, and stuff. And the last frame of each route is a picture of you with your kids.
Yeah.
You have twins with Kira now.
There's also the.
She's the only one you have twins with.
The sister of Kuroneko, and she has a bunny stuffed in her. She has a plush stuffed in her shirt.
Oh, that's not a route. That's like a side story. You don't actually get the.
Yeah, I know.
They keep it simple.
Exactly.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, what do you think they are? Degenerates? Oh,
but yeah, I liked it. You know, it is one of those things that's like it's from this time. It's you know what I mean. There's just certain things that like it exists in this time and was talked about in this time.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with enjoying it today, but understand that it's from this time. Kind of like stuff like Lucky Star and Haruhi, where there's there's that. I don't believe most media that gets created is not timeless. It's from the time that it was existed.
Well, I mean,
it was created within the time frame it was existed.
I think the overall. I think some things are never going to change. I think as long as anime culture and Japan itself exists, I think what you're saying about OREIMO, most of it, if not some of it, will at least be relatable and like understandable.
Right.
And like you'll know what Akibahara is. You'll know what anime, manga, and otaku culture is like, because it may shift and change. But I agree with you though. I think it is a period piece, and it does have a lot of cultural connotation to it. But
all right.
Well,
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Nah, I think that's it. I can't think of.
Go Space Broncos.
Okay. All right. Well, as for me, I meant to rewatch the show so as I said, I went off pure memory with this one too, and I know I didn't contribute as much as I should have, but at the same time, I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in, and for all of y'all, especially you, Saradin, for showing up and hashing it out and just giving us probably the most funnest show I've had in a while.
I did all that. These guys did all that.
Yeah.
I'm lame. Don't look at me.
You made a lot of great points.
We all did it with the power of friendship.
With the power of
Really, Anubis?
Teamwork!
Damn it, Anubis. I've watched
There is no I in him, but there is a me in there.
Yeah, I think I scared. Nah, you're cold me, Sarah. Then.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that shark
yeah,
thing.
you deal
with this guy. You're fine.
Hey, I deal with him too.
Yeah.
Not as much as you, but
Yeah.
I co-host with him.
Yeah. Yeah, you should.
I live in the same town as him. Please help me get me out.
And
Can't you just see like one of those like floating bottles with the message in it?
I just can't
Help
believe.
me.
No. But yeah. Like I said, this has been a real awesome podcast. I can't wait to do one of these again. I can't wait to do another podcast with Saradin again. Really fun. And
you got to do one with me about. You have 3 options with me.
What's that?
You could either do Girlfriend Beta, Idolmaster,
Oh yeah,
or Love Live, or Idol Anime in general.
Okay.
I have been meaning to get around to watching Love Live, so I will probably, if I'm done with it by the time, if I'm done with it, look, I'm just gonna be open. I don't like the other.
Watch out for livers.
I think it's great. Yeah, I'm not gonna be one of those. Don't worry. I don't dislike moe girls anime, and I don't dislike J-pop or any of that. It's just I find the fan base and the culture around idol anime annoying.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm gonna sit down and watch Love Live to see what it's all about.
I thought you tried it once. I thought you tried it once and you wanted to puke.
No, that was a different series. I forget which one. I know what I was telling you. I forget which series.
I think it was it was either that or Gochiusa, one of the two.
Oh, it was Gochiusa.
Oh, you don't like Gochiusa?
I can't do cute girls for the sake of cute girls.
That's one of my top favorites.
Like that's the thing. Like the thing with the reason I can do New Game is because it actually has like some insight into like a gaming industry thing.
I'm different.
It has a focus. I can't just do cute girls for cute girls reasons.
Oh, see me, I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
I'm totally fine.
And that's
with
fine. Like, I have a bunch of friends who I play cards with who are just like that. So that's that's fine and understandable. It's just
I mean, if there's a lesson or is there
it's just
an examination of something, that's fine. But that's not what I'm looking for.
It's not my cup of coconut. If you get my drift.
Cup of coconut.
Oh, cocoa.
Or cocoa, yeah.
Yeah. Coconut is from Flip Flappers. Yeah.
No,
Coconut.
Flip Flappers.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well.
All right.
Well, I guess that's the show, everyone. Where can they find all of y'all?
You can find, as per usual, you can find me on both Twitter and Tumblr at CCharmander. I more frequently post on Twitter, however. If you want to get in touch with me, go there. Hot potato.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Collectively, you can find the three of us, myself, Tom Enforcer Anubis, K-Gods, and BZ Mark II, on the NTR Radio podcast at ntrradio.net. Personally, you can find me on Twitter at TEAnubis.
K-Gods?
Yeah, okay. I'm K-Gods. No, you can find me on Twitter at classic_K-Odds. I don't have a page anymore, so that's really all you can do, or hit me up on Skype or something like that. Your turn.
You can find me at Twitter, _VZMK2. And of course my blog that I don't update a lot, but it will always be there. VZMK2 Moe and mechagatai.wordpress.com.
And as usual, you can find me on Twitter at Cube the Third, KYUUBETHE 3RD. Of course, you can find us here on YouTube. And if you liked what you heard, if you liked this crazy crap, like, comment, and subscribe. Womp, womp, womp.
Get out. I don't know you anymore. Like, and as for me, if you guys want to shoot me an email for now until, I don't know, around the turn of the year, I think I'm planning on getting a camera and starting to do some of my own, like, work on YouTube again like I used to. It's not going to be, it's going to be just, talks and discussions and mostly self-published, but if you want to shoot me an email right now, double O, and the O is actually an O, not a zero. So it's the word double, O is an O, Serodin, SERODIN, @gmail.com is my current secondary email account, and you guys can use that for now if you just want to ask me a question or ask, and then anything else just run through him because I don't have a fancy social media page. So.
Yeah, anything you want me to talk to him about,
or forward to me.
Yeah, forward to me.
You know him better.
Yeah, but one thing I want to ask: do you dislike K-On too?
Don't dislike K-On. I watched it. I was like, this was fun, and then I moved on.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, because I said I disliked idol animes.
Yeah.
Right. No, I didn't really. Well, because at the time I didn't see K-On as
and the cute girls doing cute things for the sake of cute girls doing cute things.
But that had a little bit. Well, yeah, that had a little bit something. I don't really know. It's been so long since I've seen K-On. I might have developed a different opinion. My opinion is mostly based on the fascination and exploding fan base around the Moe for Moe animes and the idol animes. And at that time, I wasn't exposed to that. Again, I didn't really gush over K-On. I watched it. I guess I enjoyed it, and I just moved on from it. But now, since there's I don't know. I guess there's that extra added negative pressure from all of the huge fans of those genres now that if I had watched K-On today, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. for one reason or another. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't have those stigmas yet. But like I said, I'm getting around to watching Love Live, so I'm putting those behind me.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
I do want to see what it's all about.
All right, so who's got a ender? Because I got one. All right.
You got one. You go ahead, because I don't.
Yeah.
It's not my podcast.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well.
Our podcast.
Yeah. We're podcasting together. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. So that's the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, Otaku Midnight's going on another hiatus. Don't know when we're going to come back. I haven't really set up a date, but I will say this. When we come back, we will be talking about the show that some has been hailed by as a Madoka ripoff. Some people say it tried too hard. Some people say... some people just say it's just a Madoka ripoff, and I personally don't... And this friend of mine and this friend of ours thinks otherwise.
I know what show.
We're talking about Yuki Yuna is a hero. So, yeah. Yeah.
I had to quit that show 2 episodes to the end.
Yeah. But, yeah, folks, that's going to be the show we're going to be talking about on the next season of Otaku Midnight. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a great, great summer. And even though we don't get the ending that we always like or find moral, this is Otaku Midnight. Thank you guys for joining in.